Oh boy. Am I ready for this?
Yeah, you are.
Good morning. It is April 3rd. Tomorrow's Easter. Jeez.
Good night. Oh,
I don't even.
I'm sorry. Good morning.
Yesterday
Good
kind of.
morning.
Good morning. Yesterday kind of like I don't know. Like yesterday was Good Friday, and I didn't even pay attention. My little one.
I know. I feel horrible as a Catholic boy.
She made her sacrament not too long ago, right? So she got her confirmation and her communion and all that stuff.
Right.
She's like, she goes, I gotta make sure I eat fish today. And I was like, oh shit, I forgot today is Good Friday.
Dang, you already done ate a hamburger, huh?
Yeah. She was like, she's 11, so I was like, she's such a good Catholic. So I was like, so what did you, I forgot to ask you, what did you get for lunch? What did you get up for lunch? And she's like, oh, I just stopped drinking dark soda, and I never gave dark soda to Narissa, but this one, we just let, the second child, you just kind of, whatever.
Right, willy-nilly, whatever. Just don't play in traffic. Just don't play in traffic.
Just don't play in traffic. She was telling me, that you love dark soda. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't even pay attention. And, and I said, Narissa, I said, what did you give up? She's like, Papa, I didn't give up. I was laughing.
I'm a kid. What the hell am I got to give up, man? Come on. I'm trying to live.
She's 17, and I'm just
we're talking to bozos.
She's 17. I was like, damn, you're not even a good Catholic anymore. I remember you made your sacraments about 7 years ago or whatever.
Right.
And she was like, at 17, they're starting to develop, like, probably way before that, but they got their own opinions about the church.
No, they're not.
Yeah, church.
Yeah.
I'm not accepting that. No.
So, I just said, I don't really, get into the discussion religion with her. She just, she's like, I just see so much stuff, and it's not that I'm not a Catholic. I just some of the things I don't agree with.
That's good.
So, I forgot to ask. We forgot to talk about it.
But good for her.
So, see, what did you give up for Lent, Tori?
You already asked this question, but
I didn't. Just negative people in my life.
Okay.
Mine was more of a spiritual cleansing. For me, like, I don't really eat bread. I never drink soda. I never drink soda. I don't like the way it feels.
Sorry.
Like one more day and my mom will be a bread whore again.
Wow.
So,
not on God's day though. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So for me, it was just, it was just giving up negative people in my life and things that drain my energy.
Right.
How about you, Alex? What'd you give up?
You already asked this question, but I mean,
I guess remember. I can't remember. But go ahead.
I didn't give up nothing, man. I'm past that. I'm on the same page as Tori.
Okay.
Just try to be a better person all around, man, and
I saw this thing and I thought it was so funny. It said, it was a meme, and it said, well, let me not eat meat on Fridays, but I can have premarital sex.
Damn. Right. I mean, yeah, if you want to get technical.
Because eating meat on Fridays is a sin, but premarital sex is not.
I gave up. Look,
I was like, well, they have a point there.
See the D? I gave up hanging around with dummies. There you go.
Dummies.
Yeah.
Dum-dums.
And
I don't know.
These 40 days and 40 nights. I just think they just went by so quick. So, and it's Easter already. And I just that COVID has definitely probably put a damper on a lot of different holidays. And I think everything's kind of running together now. You know what I mean? Like,
yes. You know what I mean? I just said that the other day. I was like, I feel like everything is just a continuation. It's just running all together. It's just meshing together.
Yeah, and
it's moving fast, but that's okay. Yeah, because hopefully we can get through this a little bit faster, and
I keep looking forward to the next holiday, and
right. Things get better. Things
and it comes, and it's still the same.
Yeah. Yeah. A couple
Yeah.
things changed, whether it's good or bad, but yeah, you know, it's like so.
Right.
But I mean, I don't know. You want to talk about and we could talk about the game the other day. You know, it's a kind of a big deal. So
Cynthia, she hasn't. Hopefully, she's going to come on. I hope.
Yeah, hopefully she's okay and everything. I was just about to ask, but
shout out to everybody saying hi in the chat.
Right, for sure.
I see you. I see you. Good morning, peeps. Happy pre-Easter. Happy pre-Easter.
This is I gave up talking. I gave in talking to her.
Damn.
Sorry.
Of course, they're not going to show their face or put a name. I appreciate all the love, but I like to put a face with a name and name with a face.
No, you know what it is. When they post in some of the groups or whatever, it doesn't post. So I'm going to find out right now who that is. If I
who gave up talking to you?
Yeah.
Who gave you up for Lent?
Damn,
they were tired of your shit.
Gave you up for Lent. That's funny as hell.
That is
ain't no communion bread for that. Yeah.
No.
I'm joking.
Right,
sometimes you can't wash and eat things away and wash certain things off, right?
So you know what?
I had a friend that used to wear a shirt that said you can't wash dirt bag off, and I was like, "That's fucking."
Oh my god!
That's almost like you can't fix stupid, you know.
Shout out to Stemmy. He says he gave up talking to me. So Stem is the one that put. It's Pop.
Well, that's not a bad thing because it's a guy, so that works out, you know.
He said he's actually watching today. Thanks, brother.
You know what I mean? Yeah. No, much love, man.
Stem said that. Stem, I can't see you and I grew up in Southwest. Whatever the case is, I have to actually go to the page and see it. I can't see it in the chat that we're looking at right now. But I think
we can just see your comment like a creeper.
Like a creeper.
That's okay too.
Let's talk about first thing I just posted this morning. So DMX actually OD'd last night. And they said he is in vegetable status, so he's not doing.
No.
Yeah, I think I got it.
Yeah,
update, but I didn't look at it.
Suffered drug overdose Friday night. Currently in the hospital. Sources close to rapper tells OD at his home around 11 p.m. last night. Overdose triggered a heart attack. DMX was rushed to hospital in White Plains, New York. In a critical care, we're told that he has some brain
grave condition. Wow.
Another source says he's in vegetable state. Doctors have cautioned he may not make it. So,
so sad.
Yeah.
And how ironic is that?
I know he's been struggling with addiction for a while. So.
Yes.
His whole life.
And
it's crazy. Go ahead.
I was going to say, as I look back at the 90s and the early 2000s, I mean, such a talent that he just couldn't control what was going on in his life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There were so many times that he was, bits and pieces of him in the news where they'd catch him and he'd catch a charge, or he'd go in and out of rehab, and you'd see him looking really good, and then you'd see him looking like he was a crackhead on the street, and you just feel bad for him. And the people, I remember people poking fun at him, and I felt so bad for him. Like, the people around him, I feel like they just used him.
Sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. It's sad. So sad. Prayers go out to his family and everybody.
Just go to my personal page and I'll be able to see you in the comments. But he was posting it. Yeah, it's just sad. I mean, like I said, I know he was here. He spent some time here in Arizona.
Yeah.
Just sad. But prayers out to his family. Hopefully, he makes it through. So
they were just talking about that on the, like I said, Drink Champs Noriega podcast I was watching, and they were talking about who won the battle between DMX and Jay-Z. I was watching this at like 4 a.m. because I couldn't stop watching this shit. So, and he asked Dame Dash who won the battle, because I didn't know that. I mean, I can kind of see it because I was probably one of those guys. Like I said, shout out to my boy Jaime Costello in DC doing his thing. Just a good friend of mine, good friend of ours, man. talked to him yesterday for a little bit. So I just want to give him a shout out, like a brother. Much love, and just miss talking hip hop.
Is he a friend of mine, or is he
he's a friend of ours, like they say, he's a friend of ours, friend of Tori's, friend of yours, whatever. But no, so he was a huge Jay-Z fan. I said, he loved him, man, and like I said, he would listen to these guys like him and Biggie and rap and say a line and a verse and just start cracking up hysterically. But so he actually watched the episode I was talking about, and I just thought it was awesome because I didn't know Dame Dash said Jay-Z was getting he made fun of so bad and stuff like that, and that's part of the reason that he made. I don't know if you guys ever seen the movie Paid in Full, but that Dame Dash made that's based off his original crew.
Okay,
he took Jay-Z and all these other guys and stuff like that and tried to
so
do
who won the battle between
Jay-Z
and DMX?
He said in the barbershop, he's Jay-Z. He was like there, and he said he won it, and that just flat the fuck out. DMX thing, he didn't get killed. He got it, he made sure he leveled, but Jay-Z won flat out, as he said. He didn't make it sound like
Right.
So I thought I started looking up some stuff and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, DMX is I look at, and people could bash me all they want. I look at DMX. DMX came along after Tupac, and he was similar to Tupac to me,
right?
In so many ways, and I never heard nobody say that.
He had such a distinct flow, such a distinct voice.
Right. So
that it very memorable. You'll never forget. As soon as you hear it, it's
and I appreciate the fact
get the whole crew hype in like
I appreciate the fact that I met him.
Lines.
It was really briefly, real quick, like almost in an orderly line, but
yeah.
I still got to shake his hand and seen him looked at him eye to eye, heard his voice in person, and that was amazing. I was like, wow, that's crazy. The only thing I came away with other than that was like, damn, this dude's short as fuck. I'm taller than him.
He's tiny. Yeah, he's tiny.
I was like 18 or whatever the hell. So but yeah.
Yeah,
thoughts for sure.
Tiny guy with a huge voice.
Definitely one of the greatest on the mic in hip hop ever. He'll always
remember when he came out, and I swear I was so fucking hyped when I saw them come out on the four-wheelers, the Rough Riders. I was like, this is the fucking shit, boy. Right. They were just doing all their stunts and rapping. I thought that was just amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
I just miss it. I miss it because everybody had their own crew. Everybody had their own, and they just battled. They just made great fucking music, and then they collaborated. Like, you know what I mean? Like Mace was on, and then
he had Eve. Remember Eve?
Yeah, they were. She
had the tattoos on her tits with the yeah. You love.
I listen to her. I still listen to her. Some of her shit. I got it all.
Did you watch
that shit? Those were classic albums.
I did not watch her porno.
Rough Riders Volume 1 and 2.
I missed that one.
Hey, tell me you're there.
How was that?
It was boring. Most of the celebrities' porns are boring. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, most of them are boring.
Nope. Must have missed that one.
Must have missed that one.
Must have missed it.
Mall yesterday, and I grabbed this hat. I don't know if I've been sleeping for the last 10 years. So I got this hat. It says Paper Planes. I thought it was awesome, right? So I was like, let me grab this hat. $45. When did fucking hats become 40 fuck? And it's not
when people like you started paying for them,
right? It's not even fitted. It's a snapback. It's a shit. Like it's got a paper plane, and I'll show it to you. Got a paper plane.
So was you making paper planes last night too, or?
Yeah. So I guess for $10 for the fucking little button on it, but
it obviously caught your eye and made you want to pay $45 for it. So.
It was shit, right?
Shout out to Paper Planes. I mean,
but he went through a lot of
different. It's cool. I'm not.
Jason said he went through a lot of lotion.
Wow.
Is that during Eve's porn?
Eve's porn. Yeah. Is that I got it.
Okay.
So, comment. What kind of lotion did you use? Did you use like Jergen?
Okay.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, $45 for a hat. I mean, it's pricey, but
I mean, I paid $35 for that rock hat.
I see them
And that
38
means
all
more to
day,
me than that does. So I don't know why I wouldn't pay money $45 for that hat. That's just me though.
You said it has a pin on it?
Yeah, it has a paper plane pin on it.
Oh yeah,
Right.
That's what. So yeah.
Right. That's the extra right there.
That was the $10 markup. That was
there
the
you go.
$10
I was gonna say
markup.
10.
You should have stayed on your level. You should have went down. You went up to the $10 markup.
You flew up there like a
you went top shelf with that.
All I can say, whoever's making hats is
fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is. Stick to Amazon. I get my shit on Amazon.
Oh man, I got so much stuff on there, Tori. It's ridiculous.
What game
so much stuff
They're at my house every day.
What good game did you want to talk about there, sports?
No, actually I wanted to talk about, since we got a little bit of extra time.
Yeah.
Conor McGregor agreed to fight Dustin Poirier July 10th. So UFC 264. So
is that his comeback?
This is gonna be the third fight. They fought this past January. I don't know if you remember, and Poirier defeated McGregor, obviously. Second round TKO. McGregor, beat him last time, same way, TKO. So this is, the money shot, I guess. So we'll see. Poirier is 27. Just to give everybody a little update to the UFC fans out there, 27-6-1 with a no contest, and then McGregor is 22-5. Got a nice 5-piece up there out of nowhere, huh? How's that look? So, I mean, yeah. I thought that, like I said, we'll see, man. This really might be a last fight. If he loses, and he loses in pretty bad fashion, probably might be his last fight. So,
right.
I think you'll hear a lot more WWE stuff. Once they get fans back in there. So,
right.
And I don't think he's going to come over until there's fans.
How many drinks did you have last night, Tori? Because I should have needed a.
So I only had like 1.5. I was lame. I had a good time. I don't need drinks to have a good time and be getting it on. But no, I told you, I haven't been drinking. I'm getting old. I don't like the way it makes me feel the next day. I don't like the way it makes you feel the next day. I'm like dehydrated, and it's just.
I'm doing a little bit of.
I'll let Alex drink for me, right?
Shit, hell no.
No, we had fun though. I took my son with me to go for the first time to the drag show with my girlfriend and her family.
I was so upset because I really wanted to go.
I know, we were bummed out you couldn't go. That's okay. Next time you can go.
Right.
I'll make sure that I let you know when we're going again. Okay. So you can plan. But took my son. He had a great time. There was a little moment there where he was not the happiest with me because one of them tried to call him on stage. Because they do whose birthday it is, who's celebrating, getting married, who's pregnant and don't know who the baby daddy is. They do all kinds of funny shit, right? It's a funny show. So then they're like, who's the first timers? And of course everybody points to my son, and he looks at me and he's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. So that was pretty funny, but for the most part we had a great time. All the performers there are amazing and beautiful and so talented over at BS West in Scottsdale.
Well, how many guys that looked like girls were you had to do a double take?
Oh, listen, honey child, oh Lord, these women are so gorgeous. There's one, okay, and she's from Michigan, believe it or not, and fucking shuts everybody down. Even the prettiest bitch in there, you're like, you're ugly compared to this woman. Tits are amazing, body banging, skin gorgeous, got this little bitty outfit on, face is flawless and beat to the gods. Like, oh man, they were just amazing. Absolutely amazing. What was that?
She said that she was with you.
Yeah, I took her there when she was here last time, so it's really a good time. The entertainers there, they're just phenomenal, and not only are they great entertainers, they're great at just putting on a good show. You know, they have a good conversation, they get the crowd interacting, everybody's laughing, having a good time. They're DJ lesbian, get it? So awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, shout out to DJ Lesbian. It was a birthday. Happy birthday, dude.
Shout out.
Hello.
I gotta call up the phone. Hello.
Hello there.
Hello there. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing, Mr. Arizona?
Mr. Hey, Stemmy, what's up, brother? How you feeling? So did you do you have any Dove left from that bottle that you've been using?
Actually, no. I ran it dry within an hour.
Uh-oh. Time to re-up.
How are you feeling?
Better, man. My back's a lot better than it was.
Yeah, how's the kids?
Kids are doing great. On my damn nerves.
So I got to ask you, have you been watching any of the Final Four? Or the
Did I watch them in the Final Four?
I'm sorry. Have you been watching any of the March Madness? Did you watch the U of M game the other day?
That's all I watched. Yeah, they look like they just gave up.
Yeah, that was my thoughts. Yeah, I thought they gave up. So did you see that?
Yeah, they just wasn't ready for it.
It wasn't ready for UCLA, huh?
No, I just didn't think they were ready enough to go through it all like everyone thought they would.
UCLA's got the best defense,
right?
And that's why it evened out, and they barely
It's
lost.
not even mad about the defense. Michigan could have beat them, but they look scared.
They look scared. So did you? I know our normal thing is to go to the opener. Did you end up going down to any of the bars where they open for?
Man, it was 25 degrees here. Do you think I left my house?
You said it was 25 degrees.
It was 25 degrees.
Yeah, it was cold.
When Mickey hit that home run, that 2-run shot, it just got to 27 degrees.
Yeah.
And it was a blizzard in the stadium.
Yeah,
I saw that. Those pictures were
that's
insane.
Crazy, right? Yeah. So you were watching a game from home then?
Well, partially from home, I guess.
That's cool, brother. So what else is going on?
Not much, man. Get ready to move.
Okay. Where you moving to?
Trying to buy a house in Lincoln Park, but the market's just not good here.
Yeah, I heard it's ridiculous everywhere. You can't buy a house. Everybody's outbidding each other. Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
No, it's not even that.
Huh?
This guy wants $130,000 for this house. He wants you to put $15,000 down, $1,200 a month, and pay it off in 2 years.
Shit.
Oh.
Damn.
Well, shit.
It's only a 3-bedroom house with a basement. I mean, it's nothing special.
Right.
Move to Arizona. Fuck all that. It's cold there.
What are people doing for Easter tomorrow? Are we, because me and my kids, I'm a barbecue for Easter because I still got my Christmas tree up, too.
You got your Christmas tree up.
Hell yeah, and it's lit. I wish I could show you.
I'm not even hating. I put up 3 trees and I left one of them still up as a memorial for my son.
Still got a tree up.
I have one of them still up.
Well,
And it's lit. I light it every day.
You got a barbecue tomorrow?
Yeah, I bought a ham so I could smoke it on the grill. And then I'm cooking New York strips, hamburgers, hot dogs, chicken, ribs.
Damn. So
that's an open to your house.
Yeah, it's an
Drop
open
that
invitation.
address in the chat. Yeah.
Anybody's in the
Well, you know I'm a
Detroit
master
area.
chef. Well, you might not know, but I am.
Yeah.
I know now.
There you go. I appreciate it, man. Happy Easter to your family, to your mom. Happy Easter to everybody. I appreciate you calling in. Much love. Thanks for tuning in. Love you. Talk to you soon.
Well, you kind of told me if I didn't call in, you were going to break my leg.
Oh, that's not
Damn.
Well, thanks for calling in. Happy Easter. Enjoy your feast tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you. All right, brother.
You too. Happy Easter to all you guys.
Happy Easter.
Yep, thank you, man.
See you guys later.
Take it easy.
Hang up on me now so I can finish watching you guys.
Bye. So, the Final Four is actually the game start. So you got Houston and Baylor, UCLA and Gonzaga. Alex, who do you got? Who do you got in the Houston Baylor game?
Baylor.
Okay. UCLA and Gonzaga. I mean,
yeah,
Gonzaga's been beating up everybody, man.
I got UCLA. Like I said,
Really?
nobody's got because they got the best defense. So when the tournament started, nobody was talking about it. But do people forget how much Michigan was scoring?
Right.
It ain't got nothing to do with the defense. What are you watching? That's why they lost. They barely lost, but that's because
you have UCLA
that defense balanced everything out from them, and that's why they didn't look scared. They just got outplayed by the UCLA defense, man. Right. You know what I'm saying? So
who do you got winning the whole thing then?
UCLA. I'm gonna go with UCLA. Who beat Michigan? Why wouldn't I? Can't go wrong. I mean, I'm not putting no money on it, but if they do when they do make it to the championship, then I might be on FanDuel because I've been trying to learn a little bit about that.
When I was tuning into the UCLA game prior, when they played who did they play? USC? I don't know. They were playing another team,
right?
And I guess his father is a huge recruiter for MLB. He was a huge basketball coach. Like he's like a legend. Like I forgot who they said that he recruited for somebody from some MLB.
Who are you talking about again? Say that one more time.
UCLA coach's dad. You would have to Google it, but I guess he recruited a lot of guys in MLB. Recruited some basketball guys. Like he's a big time recruiter, and he's an old guy. He's retired now, I think. But he was in the stands.
Right.
Yeah, that's who that is. Yeah. So,
right,
crazy, but
yeah, I mean, they're still there for a reason, man, and it's because of their play and you know what I'm saying their defense. So you have to look. This shit hasn't changed in the NCAA tournament. They say you have to have a point guard that can run your team, which they have, and I'm not like I follow them that much, but you have to play, and you have to play defense, man. You know what I mean? This ain't, run and gun in the NBA. So it's just college basketball. It's just different. As people know already. So defense means that means a lot. That's why they lost, in my opinion. So, they definitely were down the stretch 1 for 8, 1 for 7 guys that were hitting shots with their eyes closed, throughout the whole season. So
Cynthia just had an emergency last night. She's okay. I don't know if she's going to come on or not, but she said, can she still come on? So hopefully she comes on. So yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, you got to have that. You gotta have that.
Yeah, and like I said, that's just my opinion, man. Hey, that's why there's so many teams in the tournament. So you like who you like, pick who you pick. So
pick who you pick.
But yeah, that was devastating for sure. But they great season. I mean, they can't. I can't wait to see them come back this year and really step it up and start putting their foot on people's throats. So
that's always fun.
Yeah, that's
right.
Hey Stem, I guess I ain't scared of you motherfuckers.
Yeah. That's why you gotta go buy it in bulk, man. Stop buying the little bottles, dollar store bottles.
Yeah, he said dollar store.
Buy that shit in bulk, bro.
So we talked about
caseload.
So I don't know. Here's Thunder. Yesterday, I was, my dad's throwing these statistics out to me. So they beat. They beat the Cleveland Indians. Well, I can't call them the Indians, I guess. They beat Cleveland. They beat Cleveland. And what was it? What was that statistic that you were like, you better not steal my thunder? But what were you?
No, that's cool. I mean, I wasn't surprised that your father knew that, but
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the record period, I mean, you can obviously see they lost a lot of games to a handful of teams. They were that bad. They went 1-8. They went 1-18 against the Indians.
17 games to one fucking team.
Right.
And, you know what I mean? Win.
It was 18, but either way.
But I'm saying, come on, 18 fucking games. Jesus Christ. So when he's like, you know, he's watching the game, he's sitting there, and he's like, man, I can't believe they're about to win. And I was like, why? Why do you say that? And then he, you know, throws out the statistic. You know what I mean?
They jumped on. Look, they were going against a Cy Young winner, man, and Bieber, and Shane Bieber. So
the Beeve.
I was just listening. I was happy to listen to the game on the radio and shit while I was working.
It looks like she's
so
okay.
Cool.
5 minutes.
Shout out to Connie. Hi, Connie.
But yeah, I mean,
she said she likes my cup.
It was good. Yeah, sweet.
I don't know why I thought she said I like your breast. I'm sorry.
Dang.
It's okay. It goes with my. They go with my cup. I got this cup actually. This Wonder Woman cup. I got it in Michigan at Meyer. They don't have those here.
Yeah,
in Arizona.
I knew I
it's one of the stores that I miss, but yeah, they have them there.
That's awesome.
It gives me superpowers.
Superpowers.
Mm-hmm.
So let's move on to the Red Wings. Horrible 12, 21-5. I was talking to my dad the other day about the Red Wings and the Pistons. He's like, damn, don't they got the same record? And I was like, almost.
Your dad is funny.
I mean, yeah, they
He's
are
like,
the same level.
Yeah, he was like, who's better? And I was like, I don't know. It's horrible. But yeah, the Red Wings
who's worse? Easier to answer. Who's worse?
Yeah, Red Wings are playing the Penguins tonight. So let's see what's going on. And then the Detroit Pistons are 14-34, and they play the Knicks tonight. So watch some basketball. Watch definitely some college basketball. So while we're on the basketball tip, Kevin Durant, and I didn't catch that. I got to go back to it. But he was fined $50,000 by the NBA for offensive language. Did you catch that out? Yeah. Did you catch what
I seen it, but I didn't really pay much attention to it, man.
He seems like such a nice guy. I don't know what he was ranting about. I guess let me go to it. I'm really surprised he would say anything.
I thought that too. I didn't see what he was talking about, but I was like, oh, he's a really nice guy. He must have really been fucking pissed off. Somebody must have did something for him to go that hard and get.
It was like a private conversation or something, though. So I mean.
It was a private conversation.
Something to it that, yeah. So
I don't know, but I mean, $50,000.
Somebody was being nosy, then, huh?
Nobody
pretty much. Language directed at Michael Rapaport, whatever. I mean,
yeah.
Well, I mean, is that excessive? $50,000.
Well, look, man. You're in the NBA, okay? You're a product of them, so
right.
Yep.
It's pretty basic, pretty simple.
Watch your mouth.
Watch your mouth. So the day before, I love the guy, even though he went to Cleveland, and then
he say a lot of bad words, though. I know that. So
okay, and he goes to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So Drummond signs with Los Angeles. They buy him out of the contract, like we talked prior. He signs with Los Angeles. His first game, he gets injured. Exit with a toe injury.
It's not a bad injury.
Oh,
Missing a game.
No, but
toenail did come off, but it's not. It's not gonna. That doesn't affect nothing, man.
I hung out with him for a little while when I was in Michigan.
Did you?
Yeah. I went to his condo.
Oh shit! Was he? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I heard he was like that. I had some friends
doing like 120 on the freeway to the game. You remember?
Yes,
I think you were playing at the Palace.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I do. Mm-hmm.
So was he
trying?
Was he trying to decide between you and the blonde girl from iCarly?
No, I was way before the blonde girl from iCarly. Way before her. She wasn't even there.
No,
No, nope, she wasn't there.
I think did we touch on that? She stepped away from acting.
Yeah, she did. Actress,
Acting.
acting. She's an actress, and she stepped away from acting.
But,
And
and
her. I kind of took it that I read the article and I read the story about her, and
She just didn't want to talk to the guy.
She sounded that very salty about acting. That her mother put her up to it, and
Right.
she was thrown into it young, and she was the breadwinner of the family, and her mother passed away, and I think that was her
Right.
break free. And she said, and in one breath, she said she was doing this for her mother, but in the other breath, her story screamed how salty and how angry and resentful she was to her mom. So I don't know. I think she's got a lot of healing to do, but and she said she didn't like that her parts were cheesy because she played like the funny, goofy girl. But I thought she did a great job. So
yeah, I watched that show with my daughter.
yeah,
every
I
single
hope she finds
episode
some
with my
peace.
daughter.
The article was very you could tell that there was still some hurt, some hurt in her heart. So I hope that she finds peace because I thought she was pretty cool, and she's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
I,
beautiful.
I had some crushes on some of those Nick. I was like, man, these girls are.
That's kind of pedophile-ish to say that, but okay.
Yeah, I used to think the same thing, but I never said it when my daughter was sitting there with me.
It's like that.
Ariana Grande,
which
number one, but
shit,
yeah.
which is the one that made the porno? Which is the one that made the porno, and she got older.
I will have to look.
Oh fuck! I swear, Bella Thornton.
I like the girl Victorious or whatever that show was.
That Bella Thornton was that. I think that's the one she was on. Me and my son were just talking about it last night because we were talking about the. Who else you like? Who else you like? Who you want to say?
Jesse. I was like, damn. She's
okay. Oh yeah, beautiful. So so last night.
Sorry.
We were So we were talking about the Cash Me Outside girl with her. That's the one who made the $1 million in 6 hours on OnlyFans.
Oh, is that her?
That's her. Yes. Remember, we were trying to figure out who it was. That's her.
Right.
You mean split second?
Yeah.
Catch Me Outside.
BHADie baby.
$1 million in 6 fucking hours.
Yes. Yes.
She's showing booty hole. What was she?
So I know. Okay. So I guess these were just all from subs and people, joining that want to see what she's going to post. I guess she didn't even really post anything. From what I saw last night, she didn't even really post anything. And she made $1 million in 6 hours, which then brought us to the Bella Thornton, who actually was the first one to shut OnlyFans down and made like an obscene amount within 24 hours. And it was so much that OnlyFans had to change some of the rules because of Bella Thornton, and she's the Disney star that did the little risque shit and panty pictures, but I guess she did a porno too.
Catch Me Outside, bitch.
The Catch Me Outside. I don't know. You know what? She just does. She just does underwear. She just does underwear. She doesn't do any pornographic stuff. She doesn't. She ain't busting it open.
If I remember the video, Catch Me Outside or whatever, she didn't.
Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil, but she didn't have like boobs or ass or nothing, right? She was like,
no, she's ghetto. I'm sorry, but she ghetto. Like, go to her page, go to her Instagram. She ghetto. She full of tats, and I mean, I love this girl full of tats. But she's hood. She's hood as fuck.
Right.
But people like that crazy attitude. But I will say this. She has used, even though she's hood and she's ratchet, she has used her platform and her, her fame to speak out on abuse to girls that go, because she got sent away, right? Dr. Phil sent her to this rehab place or whatever you want to call it. Okay. And there's another girl that came out and said that when she went there, she was sexually assaulted. And so I don't know the Catch Me Outside. I just call her Catch Me Outside girl, BHADie baby. She said that she spoke up for this girl because she said they take your phone, you have zero contact with anybody, there's no cameras, there's no proof.
Baddie baby? I was trying to figure out what that
Baddie, B-B-H, like baddie, baby, B-H-A-B-I.
I mean, she's ghetto, but she made $6 million.
She got her teeth fixed too. Her teeth are on point. I was watching her last night. I was like, damn.
$1 million in 6 hours. Sorry, $1 million.
Yes, $1 million in 6 hours. I'm about to get off here and make an OnlyFans. I don't care. I got bras. What are we doing? What are we doing?
I'm
Okay.
about to make an OnlyFans. Oh,
I'm about to give you guys some of my bras too. Put some bras on you. Let's do this. What are you guys waiting for? I got a ring light. We're gonna get this shit done.
Don't do it. So
we're going straight to the top.
We jumped, but going back to MLB. So Alex, I don't know if you caught the story, but MLB's All-Star game got moved from Georgia because of Georgia passes a new voting law. Did you see that?
No.
Okay. Well, anyways, they passed a new law about, I think, capacity. And so they're not going to have the All-Star game, and I think that's going to be a huge blow for Atlanta.
That's going to be a huge blow.
Yeah, well, it's about, capacity, mask, and, the whole COVID.
Absolutely.
But so, that I know that brings a lot of money to the city. You know what I mean? So that's going to be pretty damaging. And then on that note, so the President Biden, he criticizes the Texas Rangers executive and governor because they're allowing full capacity, no mask for the Texas opener or for Texas.
Now he's just saying something. They've been doing that shit. What the?
Well, no, but I'm saying, all the MLB teams are limiting capacity. Tigers were at 8,200. I think the Diamondbacks were at 10,000. Texas said, "Hey, you know what? Fucking let everybody in."
Texas don't give a fuck across the board. It doesn't even matter. But this is the thing. You're still the MLB, even though you're in Texas. You're still in the MLB, and you should abide by their rules. You should abide by their rules. And Texas just said, "Fuck all your feelings. Fuck all your safety. We're across the board." They put a wall around themselves and told everybody to fuck off. And it just shows their respect for their fellow human being. I guess I don't know. It's fucked up.
Go work on your bike.
Don't bring your asses here when you get sick, though.
Don't bring your asses here.
Yeah, and they only had the All-Star game twice in Atlanta. That was in 1972 and 2000. So,
right.
Don't give a fuck.
I sent you guys the article, but Taiwan. My mom goes. She goes, "Where?" I was like, "Mom, Taiwan had a huge train crash. It killed 41 people, dozen injured. Did you see that? Like I guess we don't see much world news anymore just because of what's going on here in the States. But
right.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of
craziness that's going on here, but a lot of people, it's very sad.
Right.
He's like, "Wow, Taiwan! Didn't they used to make all our shoes?" And I was like, yeah.
"Oh my god."
I'm waiting for a couple packages still. So
I was like, Taiwan used to be on the map. Didn't we get everything from Taiwan before?
Everything. Fucking everything. Hang on. Is my cup made from Taiwan?
That's gotta be China. That's gotta be China.
I don't know. I'm sure I got something here on my table that's made in Taiwan.
Right.
That's okay. I'm okay.
Well, speaking of your mother, congratulations to my.
Congratulations! She got
my aunt.
Yeah, she got the urban. She got the urban. I'll tell you, the urban
as
warrior.
well as everyone else on the.
She got the distinguished women. Annual to urban distinguished word for urban Detroit.
It was actually on the. You go to the to the local news. It's in the local news paper and everything else. It's a huge deal, man.
Yeah,
gargantuan deal. So shout out to you.
I don't see it. I mean, congratulations,
and Janie. I love you.
I don't see it as
what you're doing.
It's some type of award. So I'm just like, oh, another one. So yeah, she's always good. Yeah,
that's awesome.
My mom's famous, I guess.
Congratulations. Your mom's famous. Tell her I want her autograph.
She's on there with Diane Lewis, bro. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
You don't want.
Yeah.
I'll
gotta
You're
go
bragging about
I'll
your
tutor her on
mom.
and pat her on the back.
No,
No
I'm
problem.
saying I got to go to her room, and then she's at her office, and she's got all kinds of things, awards, and I can't remember how many awards she's got. She's got a lot of different awards.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
so
man.
awesome.
She's on there with Diana Lewis. Are you kidding me?
No,
Your
she's
mom
a
should have
big-
been in Rocky 1.
She's a
with
big
Diana.
she's a big community help.
Right.
Just
right.
out in Southwest. Just sends a bunch of helps a bunch of people get jobs, help get whatever they need. So
every
Are
time
we going to have her on the show?
Every time, I thought about that
your
yesterday.
mom on the show.
I thought about
She's
that
a
yesterday. I
fucking
was gonna tell
Detroit
them that.
celebrity.
I was just
Don't
like,
be bashful now.
that's all right. So
Look
Tell
at your
some stories.
blushing. Aww.
Right. Every time I
Right.
drive past La Sed, man, I think about your mom. Trust me, all the things she's done.
Well,
throughout
we
the
don't
years,
care
so.
if you want her on the show. Me and Alex want her on the show. So
Oh yeah, we want to hear some stories about Enrique.
yeah.
probably my mom. My mom loves me. She loves the shit out of me.
Man. It'll be
Yeah,
a
she-
5-hour show. But I'll love every minute of it. I can go with her too.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you? Can you hear me okay? No
Me?
audio? Yeah, I can hear you. There you go.
I'm fine. I had a little emergency, but I'm okay.
You good?
Good.
Okay,
That's
You're
good.
good.
hmm
All right. Oh, now we got the full. We got the when I watched the video last time, you were like, I want to see my full. I want to have a full body. How you doing? Good morning, Cynthia. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you guys?
Not too bad. It's
Okay.
Sunday. So you ready for Easter, mañana? Oh, we lost her.
You said it's Sunday, it's Saturday.
Saturday. Are you ready for?
It's a day.
Can't hear you.
You gotta relax.
Can't hear you. You went
Can
blank.
you hear me now?
I can
yeah.
hear you now.
Yeah.
So I had an emergency with a friend, and they keep calling my phone, so I just keep ending the call.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Are you ready for Easter, mañana?
Actually, yes and no, because for the last 5 years of my incarceration, I wasn't so religious.
Right.
I lost
Makes
a lot
sense.
of faith in everything. that I
Celebratory.
believed in, so many struggles.
No, I get it. I get it. I mean, Easter is definitely kind of a family holiday, and religious and all that good stuff. So I get it. So we want to welcome you on the show, and I'm glad everything worked out for you.
Yeah.
With the emergency that you had. So we'll make it short because you probably have to go. But
No,
So-
okay.
okay, so you were incarcerated for 12 years. I read an article that, and I know we talked off air. I read the Inquirer article, and I was blown away of all the stuff that you had to go through, and with the lady that helped you out, or her students try to help you out, try to get you out of the, and then you can explain it, and I know you could probably explain it better than I can, but you basically, they convicted you and they never gave you due process, is what I understood what you were telling me. So if you can explain a little bit like that, explain to me exactly what happened. It was in 2008. You were, unfortunately, you went through some tragedy. Your cousin died. You thought it was like a brother. Your uncle died. You were in a bad place. Unfortunately, you were hooked on pills. You were you were basically caught. A victim of circumstance. You were caught in a place that you weren't even. You know what I mean? It was accidental. You were with your cousin one night, and you guys were trying to score something because you were addicted to pills. And then you found out later that he actually killed somebody. The police showed up to you at your house. They arrested you for murder. And I was reading some of that story, and I know we didn't talk about it, but I was reading that when they were interrogating you, they didn't feed you. They were intimidating you. They just quite questioned you, and you were almost like you were forced into signing something that
Mhm.
you didn't really know because you were tired and you wanted to go home to your kids.
Mhm.
So tell me a little bit how I know I left a bunch of shit out. So tell me how that
It's a
went.
lot to process.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So
Yeah.
So first, I'm gonna say that Philadelphia is known for a lot of corruption, right?
Right.
Especially like being in homicide, you encounter something that you go through like something that's culture shock. You're not only being charged for murder; they're telling you that you're never going home, and in order to process that, your mind starts to bend, and all you thought before you knew goes out the window. So at that time, I was working in a gentleman's club, right? The doctor talks about it. And this homicide interrogating officer, he knew that. He knew everything about me before I
Right.
even walked into that room because the witnesses that were already there filled him in a lot about my life. So he exploited the fact that I worked in a gentleman's club and he misinterpreted me being, a professional for somebody that he could get over. And he
Right.
tried many tactics. He talked. I'm sorry.
No,
it's all right.
okay.
Another call. It's okay.
I know they're getting on my nerves. It's wait.
We
Can you
lost
guys? I
you.
can't see
We
you
can
guys.
hear
Can
you.
you see me?
No.
No, we can't. We can hear you. We can't see
No.
you.
Well, hold on. Well, what's happening?
Hit your camera. Do you see there's
your
a button for camera?
Well, it was fine before, so it wasn't my camera.
If you log or just log out, log
so
back
go
in.
back.
Might
Can I
work.
go back in?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So I'm gonna go back in. Hold on. It's cool. Okay, my bad.
No, you're good.
It's okay.
Okay, this is not cool.
It happens.
It's okay, girl.
Right.
Yeah, she's
Every-
coming. So
Everybody
basically,
deals
what
with it.
I was telling her was, she was definitely in the wrong place up there. She goes. Okay, there you go.
They need better technology. Coming home to technology. I'm like,
Right,
what's
right.
going on?
Right?
Trust me, you're not
It
it ain't the
one
first
time.
time it's happened on this show.
No.
So. Or the last.
So basically, Ronald Dove is his name. He was my interrogating officer, and he was very inappropriate. He later on, after about like 11 years of my incarceration, I found out that he was a dirty cop. He was arrested for murder, for tampering with evidence in a homicide.
Wow.
So he basically wanted a quid pro quo. If you look at my TED Talk, you could see he wanted me to do something for him, and when I wouldn't cooperate, he dropped the hammer on me. And
Right.
in doing so,
So I'm going to stop you there because I read that and he said he wanted sexual favors. Like what the fuck? Like that just blows my fucking mind. So he's interrogating a Latina for murder that you really have nothing to do, and he's like asking you for fucking favors.
Well,
Like
he
what?
knew she worked at the club, so he
Right.
thought he could get
Right.
something from her, and he thought that she was going to be weak-minded
Right.
and do it and do whatever sexual favor he wanted to get off, and that wasn't just
Ain't no-
because you work
and-
at just because you work at a club.
And
Don't
that's
mean
crazy
that that's what we
because
do,
there ain't no
honey.
telling how many times that he actually got away with that.
Oh, and that's
even
another
think about
thing.
it.
He probably got away with it so much that he just assumed it was going to happen.
Yeah, how many women did he do that to? Jeez. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. So later on, like he was at that moment, he basically wasn't treating me like a witness. He wasn't being professional. He was treating me more like a customer in the club, right? He was trying to talk to me, and I was like, wow, maybe like if I just say the right thing, I could leave. Maybe like I could work this guy,
Right.
But I was so tired and I was so dirty that I felt disgusting. That was like the least thing from my mind. And anybody that knows me, yes, I worked in a gentleman's club. I was always very professional, and I've always been like a square, believe it or not. So I was just
Same.
like, yo, like this guy's
Same.
disgusting, and he didn't know how to basically compartmentalize the reality that I was an exotic dancer, but I was also a person. I was a person who wasn't going to give you what you thought an exotic dancer is going to give you, because I was really there because growing up in poverty, I needed money. So I did what I needed to do to get myself out of the ghetto. At that time, I lived in a room with my mom, my brother, my sister, and my daughter, and it was like maybe like 5 of us in one room.
Right.
So he didn't know that, and he exploited me, and in him doing so, he basically he hurt me. And karma is an amazing thing, because 11 years later, he was arrested, and I didn't even know that what he
Good.
did because I didn't have
Good.
access to that in the prison because, of
Right.
course, they don't give us the best access to everything in there. But it was the
Right.
social scientist who did my TED Talk, Dr. Joe McCorkle, who discovered this information
God bless
along
her.
with her students that this count was dirty, and we could put pressure on the district attorney for what he did.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, I see she's a professor of criminology and sociology. And
Sociology
she was
and criminology.
huge part of huge part of your. I'm sure she's a friend to this day. I'll just leave it at that.
She's a huge part, but I always have to explain this to people. So Dr. Jill McCork was amazing, right? Her husband was on my jury, and that's what's ironic about my story, because when she came forward, she couldn't talk about that.
Right.
Because people would not take her serious as a social scientist. She's a woman who loves to fight for gender inequalities, right? She's very passionate about what she does, and telling the public that her husband was on my jury, we feared that, people were going to be biased.
A lot of backlash for sure.
Right, bias. She didn't want people to be biased.
Including, the judges that she was talking to and the
Right.
DA. So we kept all of that a secret.
Wow.
And now the world knows her husband was on my jury, and for a long time, he thought about my case. He knew that I was wrongfully convicted. He knew that when he asked the judge, does aiding after the fact, does that constitute accomplice liability? He knew that that wasn't a life sentence. And he didn't find out that I was sentenced to life until I was in prison for like maybe 5 years, that he started doing research. Because they don't tell the jurors, like, we're going to give her life. They tell her, okay, thank you, she's guilty, go home. Now we're going to sentence her. And of course, the jurors don't have to be there for the sentencing phase.
So did they have to reopen
wow.
so they reopen the case after the 5 years, or
No, nobody reopened the case. Pennsylvania, like I say in all of my videos, is a very cruel and cold state. They don't care if your grandma was on the jury. They don't care about any of that. What they care about is when I won my federal habeas corpus, I won on a federal level. So that means that I had to challenge my conviction all the way to the top. And in doing that, I had to go through 9 appeals in the state courts of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
one of the toughest.
Yes,
right. Wow.
Very conservative state. People think we're so liberal. Philadelphia, Harrisburg, and Pittsburgh are the most liberal states in Pennsylvania. But the rural towns in Pennsylvania, which control the majority of, the Senate and the House, are more rural white America people that vote for Trump. I'm going to just call it for exactly what it is. So that's why Pennsylvania is like always up in the air. So I lost all of my appeals. It wasn't until I got to the federal level, my last appeal, Dr. Joe McCorkle reached out to me. So it was perfect timing.
Wow.
Yeah,
I read that. I read it all.
And this lady comes in and like, oh my God, my husband. When I got the letter, I cried.
Yeah, I was going to say, stay right there, because I remember I was reading the article and it said you originally got a letter from this lady, and you're like, who's this lady?
Tori threw it away or whatever.
Exactly. So at that time, have gotten a lot of letters from people, just a bunch of BS, right? So I was like, oh, here she is, another person from a college trying to save me. Really, they don't know nothing about me. They're not going to be able to help me because I'm an intelligent woman. I know how the appeal process works. You and your students are not going to convince a judge, a conservative judge, to say that I'm a piece of shit.
So you were getting, you felt like you were getting a lot of exploiting type letters, possibly,
well, people do that.
Or they were.
It's kind of like false hope, like we want to help, but really, I know that she really couldn't do it alone.
Okay, so
you had been through so much at that point that you knew what level. Exactly. Exactly.
You are not going to get out of a life sentence unless your sentence is vacated or remanded.
See, and that's the beauty of our sometimes, like, we're from Southwest Detroit, so I mean we know we've seen people, so many go through it and everything. So that's the street smarts and everything. So what was it that made you not throw that letter away? And I know you was going to get to it.
Yes. So
what changed?
The letter at first, it was kind of like a letter that kind of looked at like just a regular standard letter that she sends to everyone. I was like, this is BS. But she mentioned something in there that really triggered my mind, and it was the word wrongful conviction. Because I knew that I was wrongfully convicted. But the courts never verbalized it that way. It was always like, guilty, guilty, guilty. But I understood that I was charged as, I was charged for aiding after the fact, but I was convicted as an accomplice.
Right.
So in understanding that, I knew that I was wrongfully convicted. But in Pennsylvania, that isn't something that a lot of people used at that time. It was a new word that was becoming very hot in Pennsylvania. And when she said it, it triggered something for me to want to know, why did you mention wrongful conviction? What is it that you know about my case?
Right.
You're not
Right.
telling me.
It makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So the letter I wrote her, I let her know. I was like, listen, I've been in prison right now for about 10 years. I was like, I'm very intelligent. I'm very knowledgeable in the law. I know everything that happened in my case. So I started to let her know. I was like, I was wrongfully convicted for X, Y, and Z. My jurors, said this. My judge said that.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm fighting in the federal courts.
And I am not that person who they made me out to be.
Yeah.
On top of everything else.
I'm not that person, but
Right.
when you're talking about in the legal sense, they don't care about it. Right?
Oh yeah. You have to.
So
eventually-
her husband, your juror, was the one that told her about you and sparked that flame.
Well, so obviously they were married. They've been together
Right.
30-something years. So she knew everything about me. Even like when he was going to trial, he basically was telling her, "Listen, I think I'm going to convict somebody who's innocent." Like, or
He knew.
didn't do this
He
crime.
knew.
And
He knew she could help you.
He wasn't even allowed to talk about that stuff. So
I
I didn't want to
know.
get him in trouble in the whole process of us, trying to get me
Man,
out.
that's huge. Wow.
He was
It's
venting
amazing.
to his wife. He was
But
like,
he knew, and there's certain things that even if you can't talk about it, he's venting to his wife consciously. He
Yes.
couldn't just let it go.
He did the right thing.
He had to do the right
matter
thing,
what.
and thank
it
God
was
he
feeding
did.
that
Right.
spirit and
Absolutely.
Amazing. It's amazing.
But you want to hear something crazy? Like the last 5 years of my incarceration, I lost my faith in God. And the reason that I lost my faith in God was because I started to see a lot of my comrades die. And at that time, I wasn't intelligent enough to compartmentalize that, God had nothing to do with that it was more politics. But I was emotional. So that's what I wanted to touch on. When you're dealing with the courts, you have to remove your emotions.
Blame someone.
So me and Dr. McCorkle didn't really talk about a lot of emotions. When I'm writing these legal letters, I'm not saying I didn't do this. They don't give a fuck about it. Excuse me.
Right.
It's
You're
more
good.
like,
You're good.
Oh, we drop F-bombs all over here. Gone,
or
girl.
like legally they did this, and legally I know that I have a right to this. So when you're dealing with, just so you guys know, you're not really emotional when you're dealing with the courts, because they teach law students to remove their emotions when they're fighting cases, right? So
It makes sense. Yeah.
we're not gonna talk about I'm not guilty, I didn't do this. By that point, I was ice cold.
Right.
I'm not gonna explain to a stranger that I didn't do this. I know I didn't do it, but legally, here's why I need to go home, right? And then later on, a little bit I talked about, but I didn't need to really explain myself that I didn't do anything, because I knew I didn't do anything. So I feel like over explaining that over and over was kind of like, you know what I mean? Like,
it would make you sound like you did it. Right.
Yeah.
Over exaggerated.
It was just redundant. I don't need to prove to anybody. I know
everybody
this.
knows the story. Everybody knew the truth. Most of them. You know what I mean? So
you needed that confidence too to
you
just continue to go forward and
let
not
it
put
come
your
out.
feelings in
that
it.
confidence, that was like something that's when I started to think like, oh my God, is God real? Like, is God real? Because
God's plan.
For years I cried and I was like, damn, God, like, can you like touch my jurors, because they really sent an innocent woman to prison. They really got it wrong. They got it wrong, and they didn't even know me. I was like, they didn't know me. They didn't know I was kind. They didn't know I was loving, because none of that was ever told to them. So when I got the second letter from her, and she was like, I'm a social scientist, basically social scientists, they study the environments, right? And that's what they do. They labeled mass incarceration. That came from social sciences, right? So she gave me all of her credentials, and then after that, she dropped the bombshell. She was like, my husband, I have a unique connection to your case. And that's when she basically, told me that her husband was on my jury. And that's when I just started to cry, because I was like, oh my God, all of my prayers were aimed at my jury.
Yes.
My whole appeal, the whole basis of my appeal was that my jurors got it wrong, right? Because of what the judge told them. She misinstructed them on an accomplice liability charge. So it really wasn't their fault. I believe jurors are very ignorant. They're not knowledgeable of the law. And I would never take a jury trial again if I ever was put in the legal system. And it's sad to say, because they say it's our best system, but I don't believe that. And I challenge that today.
Well,
and,
I was reading the article, and, like you said, you're a good person. Yeah. You weren't the person that they painted you out to be.
No.
And, I was seeing, like I said, I was reading that article, Like, you know what I mean? Like, she went through some tragedy, you know what I mean, that put her in this place, and you guys are not giving her a fair, you know, like you said, due process, fair shake. And, you know, like I said, we talked off air, and it's hard, you know, going through some of those strategies, and people don't understand. They just label you as being somebody from the ghetto, Latina, you know, basically like, oh, committed a crime. Okay, they just lump you into that, and they just, you know, they throw away the key, and that's what happened, and you didn't get that. And in this process, and she didn't tell you, we talked, and she's, you know, she exhausted over $100,000 in legal fees. And if she didn't have that money, she probably still would be incarcerated. I mean, so for an average person that she, you know, that she said that she made friends with in prison, they don't have that. They gave up, you know what I mean? They gave up because they don't have that fight. She had that fight. She said, you know, at the end when they denied everything, it sat on someone's desk for 2 years waiting for an answer. I mean,
wow.
it was, you know what I mean? That I congratulate you.
Process.
That you took, you know what I mean? Like that took a lot. So I can imagine the emotional that she went through. She didn't just go through the losing, you know, giving $100,000 to the system. She was taken advantage in prison by a guard. I mean, just the emotional that she went through in those 11, 12 years. Hats off, because like I said, she's just an amazing woman. So go ahead.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you know, I don't know what like I said, you know, I obviously, and we don't have, I'm not gonna mention them out of respect, but I follow your cousin. And that's when I seen your pictures, right? I'm a huge fan of him. And so I seen you, and of course I was like, oh, look at this beautiful lady. So clicked on the, you know, you get the clicking and everything. And then I watched the beginning of your stories just during when the COVID first hit. And there was just something that I just kept watching the stories and following it. And we would say stuff to each other. That was what I thought was so cool of you. Like you, like I understood automatically that you was, you know, you got out, you were trying to build your social media and all that stuff and trying to get your story out there and everything. But you were so nice enough to take the time to reply back a lot of times. And I was like, wow. So that's what kind of kept me following you and everything. And
thank you. That really
I thank you for coming on once again, because I was like, what do I have to lose? I really appreciate it. And I felt like you had to get your story out. And because we covered a couple, you know, that topic before about the way prisoners are treated, etc. So thank you. I really appreciate it.
Working on prison reform, you know, if a man or a woman is raped in prison, they have 7 years to fight it. She's out there saying, look, this needs to change. This needs to change. It needs to start from when they're released, or totally there shouldn't be any limitation. Correct?
Right.
Correct.
Basically, what's happened.
Yeah.
He was, you know what I mean? Like there was a guard that, you know, did things to her, and you know she can't fight it now because the 7 years. You know what I mean? I think that's bullshit.
Oh, that's fucked up.
That needs to change. The law that incarcerated you, it's old. It's from England.
Yeah.
It needs to be abolished. So, and she's working on her book, telling her whole story about what happened from you know,
Yes,
end.
love it.
People need to be accountable,
Love it.
held accountable for that type of stuff.
Be accountable for, and I know this guard you said is no longer a guard because of everything that's happened. But you know, speak on that a little bit.
Okay, so first I'm going to say that yes, I was actually raped when I was in the county jail in Philadelphia, and it happens very often. So I'm not going to say that I'm the only person that it happened to. It happens so much, and because we're in prison, we're labeled as being bad. And you know, the Me Too movement is doing a good job in bringing awareness to, you know, rape and trying to get rid of the 7-year limit on, you know, rape. But when it comes up to people in prison, they don't fight hard enough for us, right? Because of the labels and the stigmas. And it's very, very sad. And a lot of us, you know, live with all of that sadness for years because really who's going to listen to somebody who's labeled as a murderer, right? As a robber. So
Right.
we suppress all of that feeling.
Makes it so much
me
harder.
emotional when I talk about it, but we suppress all of that, and in doing that, we have to fight a system that's very cold. And in fighting, you have to learn how to kind of like die inside, because how are you going to be so emotional when you're battling a system that doesn't allow you to talk about emotions, right? You have to be rational, you have to talk about facts. And so the officer who raped me, I was raped right when my co-defendant escaped the county jail. He was all over America's Most Wanted, right? I have a really great cousin.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
Who's probably now a good person, but he's been through some shit. So it's kind of like a little angel and a little demon on one side.
Right? We all got him.
Yeah, well then girl. Yeah. So like he escaped the county jail. He was on America's Most Wanted, and by him escaping, it brought a lot of attention to my case. And of course, I was placed back into solitary confinement, where I was tortured by guards. I was physically beat up. And could you just imagine, like, all of your friends being fired for someone's escape, and the only person that was there was this little 5'3" woman who, is cousins with the guy.
Oh my gosh.
So I had to deal with everything that.
So you're a target. Yeah, you're a target.
So when that happened, of course, I was afraid to come forward, right? My cousin was just captured. He was beat up, what I heard from my family. So I wasn't going to come forward about being raped. I mean, who in their right mind is going to say, oh, this guard just raped me?
Yeah,
right.
So
so you can get beat some more?
Huh?
I said so that you can get beat some more.
Exactly.
So and you can get raped some more, and you can get targeted some more.
Exactly. So I kept it all to myself, and I really thought I was going home when I went to trial. But of course, we all know that didn't happen, because I was so naive. I didn't understand our system at the time.
Right.
I knew the law, but I was like, I'm innocent. I'm going home. This doesn't matter.
Right.
I'm going to plead the fifth. I'm not going to testify against my cousin. I'm going to give him a chance at trial. Forget about it. If I would have knew it, but I would have still have not testified, because it goes against my principles and my morals, that I didn't want to hurt somebody else, right? Because I am a kind person.
Damn.
So I wanted to give him his chance at trial.
And you got a great heart.
Yeah, to take responsibility for what he did, which he didn't.
Of course not.
Great heart.
Yeah, so I didn't come forward, and I really thought I was going home, but unfortunately I went upstate, and when I went upstate, like, being raped was something that I talked to some of my cellmates, not all of them, because of course that's some really private stuff. Right. And I spoke about it to my friend who was a visitor at the church, who came to see me for 7 years straight. She's on my Instagram, and I cried to her about it on visits, because I couldn't tell my mom. What was I going to tell my mom, that I was raped in prison and stress her out some more?
And stress her out some more and make her worry about you even more. So you can't do that.
It's so tough. Shit.
To myself, I never told my dad, my mom, my family members, because I didn't want to hurt them anymore, because they already were worried about me. But I did confide in the church. I confided in my cellmates, and I never came forward to the cops, because upstate, I was in a rural area far away from home. It was predominantly white, right? And I was already, the guards would be like, well, you look white. Well, I was like, well, I'm not, I'm not white. Like, I just have really light skin. And the minute I opened my mouth, I'm from the ghetto. I'm ratchet, right? So I was like trying to make the least amount of waves that I could. Right. So I just kept everything to myself, and I was in a kind of like a catch 2020. Like, I couldn't really talk about that. I needed to walk a fine line, because I didn't want the district attorney to throw that back at me at court, because they do things like that. You really can't trust. Our system is horrible. I'm just going to say, they don't play fair. They don't give you all the evidence that they have. They withhold things. And, Brady versus Maryland is an amazing case for ineffective counsel, which talks about that, right? Like, so what I'm trying to say is, basically, I kept all of that to myself, because I knew that the DA would use that back at me at court in some way. Like, you were an exotic dancer. Now you're in court. Now you're saying that a guard did this. So I had to basically, keep all of that to myself. And it wasn't until I was released that I started to talk about my sexual assault and fighting to abolish the 7 years, on the statute limitation of rape.
Keep fighting. Keep fighting.
Girl to death.
Keep fighting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give them hell forever.
Once again,
you've been doing it since
victory in the state of Pennsylvania. So I know we talked about when you got released. So she released released officially, I guess, when the United States or whatever declared that COVID was a problem epidemic. It was a day before, and she's like, hey, you know what? I'm used to being being locked down anyway. So
Isolated, yeah.
COVID, so this is just another thing, but
Yeah.
literally
Kind of fun to see other people living in panic for a minute
I
right?
loved it.
I'm right with you.
Like, you guys are panicking. Like, y'all need to chill out.
Right, calm down.
Yeah,
it ain't that serious. You'll be okay without going fucking places.
You were so consistent with all your social media. Like I said, just every day I seen something, and I was like, wow.
Well, I was literally in tears because she said that the day she got released, and I think you had lunch with the doctor, and then you must have went to the subway. She went to the subway, and keep in mind she was incarcerated in 2008. A lot of things have changed, right? I mean,
everything.
A lot of things is from 2008. So
What'd
she's
you get
looking
at the subway.
she was at the kiosk, and she was literally in tears because she didn't know how to, get on the train because you know what I mean. Things have changed. She was literally in tears, and she's, a March baby. I believe that's what you said, Aries baby. Aries baby?
No, hell no, I'm a Pisces.
Pisces.
Oh, she is Pisces.
Pittsburgh, Danny Garcia.
She's a huge help.
Right.
She's got a big heart.
She's a March Pisces.
So, she was literally in tears, very emotional because she didn't know how to work the kiosk, and she was embarrassed to ask anybody, and that really broke my heart because she basically said, some lady helped her to say, look, I just got out of prison. I don't know how to use this machine.
Aww.
So it like I said, it was a huge technology has changed. She's like, I still trying to use my phone. I don't know. And everybody keeps calling me, and I because I'm used to them calling. You know what I mean? I'm calling them now. Everybody wants to call me.
You're trying to adapt. You're trying to adapt to get
a lot.
That was a very emotional thing probably for you when you're getting out. And she was like, I just segregated myself. I went to my room, and because I'm not used to everybody like calling me, my daughter called me, mom calling me, and I mean,
it's a lot of activity too. Just a lot going on.
To me, that's just it breaks my heart because when you're in prison, they don't teach you none of this stuff. You know what I mean? It's more of a persecution. It's more of a punishment. And definitely, like you said, there's got to be some type of prison reform. We can't.
I mean, just like you get dropped in prison, they drop you out. I mean, it's just,
yes,
you're
on your own, no matter what. So
yes.
So, like I said, that was just it broke my heart when you told me. It was scary.
So I have a question.
Sure.
And it might be a little personal, but I think about these things. So all the things that happened to you, what kind of mental health work are you doing? Therapy for yourself? What kind of tools are you using? Are you meditating? Are you just, what kind of things, and you have that support for you? Because I think that's huge in your healing, but also not just in your healing, but in your process for you to continue forward to help all these other women that you were clearly put on this earth to do.
Yes. So first I want to say it's an amazing question and thank you. I can tell you that when you are incarcerated for especially a long time, you learn not to trust therapists and you learn not to trust psychologists because everything you say, of course, is documented and then it could be used against you later. So when I was in prison, I really did not depend on therapy or psychology. I depended more on my comrades who had life like me, who did 50 years, who had 40 years, who were like my sisters, my mothers. And, I look at them as my friends today. And sometimes it's hard to live without them, believe it or not. And it does affect me. But I can say that's why I do what I do, because I know Pennsylvania and I know that I cannot just walk them out of prison. But I know that I could chip away at the system, and I know that every day I could, try to change somebody's mind on how they look at people who commit crime, right? Look at the socioeconomic class. Let's look at, how CDC declared gun violence a mental health issue. Let's look at everything, right? Let's not just be judgmental, say, he's committing robberies. Of course he's committing robberies.
But why?
He needs.
But why? Right.
To the root of the problem. Right.
Lost you.
We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
There you are.
Yep.
Okay, we're back on. My friends from Los Angeles keep calling.
Okay.
But so what I was going to basically say is that therapy, because I never used it in prison, right? It was something. It wasn't something that I was like, I'm gonna go jump to talk to a therapist when I get out, right? It's kind of like you become insular.
Well, there's lots of forms of therapy, not necessarily talking to therapists, but there's life coaches. There's people who have been in your walk of life.
Exactly.
There's even just guided meditations you can do for yourself on, on YouTube that I've actually found several that I absolutely love. That there's times where I'm literally like, okay, I'm about to end up on the fucking news. I need to go ahead and just get myself together and turn this on real quick and take a quick little 15, 20 minutes, get my tea, get my essential oils going, and get my life right for a hot second. So
what I do and what I did in prison, I started to venture off into yoga. So I do a lot of yoga, which gives me
nice
mindfulness, right? Like when I was in the cage, like I swear, like something happened to me that I don't know what it was, but it was very magical. And at this time I was religious, right? Like I told you guys, I lost my faith in God, but I would just meditate and I would use
spiritual.
Yes, I was a lot. Now I'm back with Jesus.
Okay, you can be both. You can be spiritual, you can be religious and spiritual.
To know that when I came home, I was so empty and
it happened.
And I was like, God, it's like
you were lost. You were
the
lost
first
at that
7
point.
years, like I depended on Christian TV. I depended on Jesus, and I knew that I still needed that in my life. And it was like, even though I was trying to fight it, but long story short, I haven't been able to speak to a doctor, which I want to eventually, because I'm the type of person, I want to use all of my resources. I want to speak to a psychologist. I want to speak to a therapist. I want to get it all out there. But coming home to the pandemic, I didn't have any resources. Like I was speaking
it makes it very hard. It makes it very hard.
Yes. So what I've been doing in the meantime is what I did when I was in prison. I speak to my comrades. I have a lot of
I get a question for you. So was it because I know she said, and we'll put it out there, she said she's trisexual. She met somebody in prison that she bonded with. Were you guys kind of like, you know what I mean? Were you guys each other's therapists? Like you said, I made a bond with her. I played cards with her. We talked.
Shoulder to lean on.
So was she your therapist?
She was. I can say that I had her, but before her, my best friend in prison, she was very old. She was a psychiatrist in Philadelphia, and she was in prison for almost 50 years. So she gave me a lot of,
lot of insight.
Wow.
She was a psychiatrist, and she was in Center City, Philly. So like she was in prison so long, she was very intelligent. So she pretty much helped to raise me in my, my whole 30s.
Man.
So I had that. And I had my friend who also did 50 years. Her name is Rose Dinkins. I made a video about her, who helped me to stay strong in the moment. But my prison wife, we were together for 5 years. And yes, on a lot of depressed days that I wanted to end my life, I would talk to her and I would cry, because you can't be vulnerable like that with everybody in prison, because you're a target to people. So yes, I talked with her about everything, and you learn not to trust the cops, unfortunately, but it's true.
No,
you learn not to trust psychologists or therapists in prison, because they're fighting with the same system that's oppressing you. So you have to be very careful in doing that. So I learned not to really use those type of resources when I was in there. But she was somebody that I confided with. I talked to about my feelings, about my suicidal thoughts, which I didn't talk to. It makes me emotional with everybody, because people, they kind of judge you, when it comes up to those things. But I had a lot of those thoughts, and she would always talk me off the cliff when I was talking to her about it. So
was she the one?
You were so strong. You were so strong.
The one that talked to you, because I know we had the conversation where you said you didn't take a shower, you didn't eat, you were so depressed. Was she the one that talked you off? Because you had me in tears when you told me that. It's so hard to hear that. She's such a great woman that you went through all this, and you're saying you did. Was she the one that did that for you, or who was that person that did that? Because I know you said that you got up and you said, you know what, I'm fucking beating this.
So no, she wasn't the one who got me out of the bed, but I met her the last 5 years of my incarceration.
Okay.
And I believe that now she was heavenly sent because
Yeah,
I was going to be
absolutely.
denied everything. So I was already planning on ending my life. I was planning on
Wow.
never coming home. I'm a
Right.
miracle right now. Like, I want you guys
Yeah.
to know that, yes,
Yeah.
I'm home. I'm on
Yeah,
Instagram.
I mean, 1% is able to do that. That's
Yes.
that's
That's
Yeah.
it. Just
I
That's
mean,
so
1%.
I
commendable.
could repeat myself all day. Like I said, there was something that I just was like, I had to ask you. I wanted to get you on the show. It was
No, you're
amazing.
so
I'm one of your biggest
strong.
fans
You
in
are
the
so
world, and now you got
strong.
2 more. So
And
So-
I
So
want you to know, because you're a
it's
Danny
amazing.
fan. On days like I would jog,
Speechless.
you know, we don't really have
Yeah.
the best gyms in there. So I would jog and I would want to stop jogging. And I would
mental.
just think like, Danny's
Like-
probably jogging now, you know.
Oh,
Yes.
that's so
Probably
awesome.
not going to give up. I can't
Yes.
give up. I have to keep going. I would often pretend that my judges were in front of me and they would tell me, you have to run one more mile
That's
and you'll get out.
strong. That's
And I
amazing
just
stuff
kept
right there.
jogging and jogging and never stopping. So
You-
everybody was a part of me staying strong.
right.
The mind is such
I
a
can't just
powerful
say
thing.
It was one person. I always tell people I'm like Dora, right? I'm an explorer. I use all of the tools in my belt. I use my friends in prison. I use my comrades, my sisters I left behind. Every day was somebody else that I used. I ventured off into
Right.
yoga. I used Jesus, you know. So everybody came into my life exactly
Right.
when I needed them, right? It's
Yeah,
this thing.
yeah.
And then, but it was the psychologist in Philadelphia when I was sentenced. I went through a depression, like I was telling Enrique. It was very, very humiliating. I could speak about it openly now, but I didn't shower
Right.
for 3 days. I was disgusting, and I did not feel disgusting. I felt perfectly fine, and
Right.
people that
It got to be normal. You became like immune to
Yeah.
it. Right.
people that knew me knew that I was very fastidious. I was very neat. I was very organized, and I wasn't that person anymore. And it was because I was sentenced to life. My body was going through culture shock, where I wasn't crying, screaming. I was just laying in my bed, and the psychologist who knew me for about a year in the county, we visited each other every Monday, and we would talk about traumas, me along with other women. And she came to see me, and for the first thing she did, like I told Enrique, right, was that she identified what happened to me was wrong. And when you are addressing people that are, you know, wrongs are done to them, I think the first thing for me was her saying, I know what they did to you was wrong. She's very smart and very clever lady, right? Because
Yeah.
you wanna recognize what somebody went through is wrong, because then
Absolutely.
they listen, right? The next thing she told me, she was like, I know you. She was like, I know your case. I have followed your case. What happened to you was an injustice, and but I know that you're strong. She was like, I want you to go up there and I want you to fight. She was like, if you don't get out of this depression now, she was like, I have people that I know that went to prison with life, never get out of it. They're stuck in that cycle of depression.
Right. They stop fighting.
Well, not only do they stop fighting, baby, they become a whole different person. Like depression, like I know women that were just perfectly normal in the county. When I seen them upstate, they were talking to themselves. They were eating their own feces.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
this shit really could change your whole life. Depression.
Yeah,
Absolutely. They
you said
can.
you went down that rabbit hole, and you're like, and she told you that, and you're like, what the fuck is a rabbit hole? Well, like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
So,
I use the phrase a lot now, but like
So
she
do
told me
I.
if I go down that rabbit hole, I may never come out. And it was something that when I got upstate, I was still so depressed. Like my roommate was like, "You need to shower. It's shower time." I was like, "I'm not showering. Just closing the door." Like, but I didn't feel dirty. I was just so depressed that I didn't have the energy to get out of it.
No, you just don't have the motivation or the energy or the want.
You
Your
want
mind
to
isn't
clean
there.
up.
I battle with depression myself, and that's why I asked mentally, what are you doing? Because it's such a I'm a very strong advocate for mental health, and I'm one of the people. I mean, you know, there's some people that don't recognize it. Me, I know when I come to a certain point when I'm like, okay, get up, shower, you need to do this, go do something. Yes, absolutely.
Another example
Absolutely.
of life is a life not worth living, right? So like that was
Amen.
what he was known for. So I have a lot of self mantras that I did in prison. You know, then you're strong, fight. You gotta fight. Then you're beautiful. You're beautiful.
Every
Don't let
day.
them take your beauty. You know, if you're depressed today, get up, make coffee. It's always the self dialogue with the soul, like Socrates talks about, that keeps me going.
Right.
So when you're feeling depressed, you know, I always tell myself they want to see me fail. I'm going to get up and I'm going to do 10 squats. I'm going to do 10 push-ups. I'm going to do
Right.
You want to see me down. I'm going to push myself and have 3 cups of coffee, and I'm going to drink a lot of water. So the self mantra helps me a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever your routine is.
And that's a form of
right,
therapy as well.
That was
Exactly.
my therapy.
So,
It was the only
Yes.
You got up, you went for the fight. You said that you learned everything possible about the law. She was almost were you a jailhouse lawyer? I know you said
Well,
you talked about it, but I mean, you went up there and made copies of everything. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Go ahead.
No, I said she made copies of everything, and she said, that took money. You know what I mean? It was 10 cents a copy, and you're in prison. So she made copies of everything that she could possibly. She learned the law. She learned everything possible to fight that fight. So I'm sorry.
No, you're good. So first, I've always been very inquisitive as a little girl. I'm gonna say I probably was I had first honors, so I was always very nosy. Like I always wanted to know everything. So when I would see my appeals, I would always see like all the case law. And I was like, well, what the hell is this? Like
Smart.
Commonwealth versus who and Commonwealth versus that. So I started to want to just educate myself on like, who are these cases?
Right.
Is my judge, is my lawyer even citing the right cases?
Right. Comparing stuff and everything. All that
Right.
type
What's
of
the
stuff.
comparison?
There's some articles that I've read in Philadelphia where the lawyers didn't even know the cases they were citing.
That's crazy. I
Yeah,
just,
like this
That's
guy was
insane.
that.
That was your biggest argument, that you said your lawyer didn't object to what was going on in court. So can you explain a little bit about that? Because I was
Of
course, like I said, I'm a smart guy, but sometimes laws and criminal stuff, I'm like, I don't know, I don't understand. But go ahead, explain, because that's basically what actually got over
corrupted.
That's
what
It's hard to understand it.
Yeah, hard to understand it.
But
when it's
you're
corrupted.
very intelligent for being able to, process that and think about that. I'm gonna let you guys know right now. There's no connection in Pennsylvania that's gonna get you out of prison. It has to be something that is unconstitutional, like me.
Right.
I want federal level. It was so the Sixth Amendment basically states that you are to have effective counsel from the preliminary down to the rendition of the verdict, right? You need to have a lawyer who's going to represent you and who's going to basically have your back through the whole process. That's the Sixth Amendment, right? That's what's supposed to happen, but it doesn't happen for poor people. We already know that. It doesn't happen for people who are, disenfranchised and people of color, because the resources, right? You don't have the money, and they have a lot of like cases, and they have a lot of they don't have the resources to get an investigator. They don't have resources to challenge DNA and things of that nature.
Right.
My lawyer, the jury asked the question, right? The question was, it keeps going off.
There you go. There you go. No, you're
Okay, there you are.
I know how to wait. The popular button keeps going off, so I keep
Oh.
No worries.
You're so popular. You're
only
what
with
it
my
is.
friends, though. Everybody
I know,
else,
right?
I really
Right?
Hear her friends right now. Tune in. Hear her story. Go
I
ahead.
have preview friends right there on the podcast. But so like the Sixth Amendment, like my lawyer, the juries asked the question. They said, does aiding after the fact, right? They underlined the word after on the paper. Does that constitute, of course, they didn't use the word constitute because they're not lawyers, but does that constitute accomplice liability? That's what they were asking. Could she be an accomplice just for helping him after? So the legal response to that question is no. You cannot be an accomplice just for helping someone after. You have to have planning. Not that there's planning for second degree. Let's not be confused.
Because the
no
DA's
intent on
argument was saying it was a conspiracy, correct? It was a conspiracy with your.
I was charged as an accomplice, yes. And as an accomplice, you have to have conspiracy, right? Which
Right.
the jury acquitted me on. That's how you know they didn't know what they were doing. They found me not guilty on conspiracy, but they found me guilty on everything else.
Right.
So
Which is contradicting.
Yeah, which makes no sense.
They're not lawyers. They're people like on hot dog stands. They're people that work
Right. They're
maybe
just
one
basic
is a
people
doctor,
that
maybe
has
one is a
no.
lawyer.
Right.
They're just normal. They're supposed to be people of your peers, but I want to say here on the
Right.
line, they're not of my peers because they don't know me. They don't live in my neighborhood.
Right.
And they're given restricted information about you as well.
Well, they don't know us.
Right. They
They're
don't know
people
you.
that-
I think it's so
literally.
crazy, something that you said in regards to, and I can see, I don't even know. They don't tell them that you're facing life.
No,
Like I
they did
couldn't
not say
even
that.
imagine putting you're putting your life in these people, like you said, a hot dog vendor, a grocery store clerk, a mom, a doctor. You're putting your life in their hands, and they don't even know what they're going to hand you by saying, well, I kinda agree, or maybe, or, well, I'm just going to agree with them because they are all agreeing too.
Very scary. It's very scary when you
So
think.
Yeah, when you're putting
crazy.
your life in the hands of
So
anybody. I
crazy.
mean,
And they don't even
The,
tell them.
yeah, the
Wow.
Sixth Amendment basically, like, it's supposed to protect. So my lawyer was supposed to object to that when they asked that question,
Right.
and he was supposed to say, Your Honor, I object because I want to preserve that issue for appeal later.
That would have
He never
changed
did that.
so
And he
many
never
things.
did.
Wow.
He never did. So in him not doing that, he was ineffective. Because like I said, you have to be effective from the preliminary to the rendition of the verdict. You can't pick and choose when you're going to be effective as a lawyer.
Right.
So he never objected. And even though the judge could have denied it, you still want to preserve the issue for appeal later. Because what happens is when you bring up the issue later, the courts are going to say, well, this issue was waived because your lawyer never objected to it. So you have no issue. Do you get that or no? It's
I
very,
do.
like,
Yeah.
It's very complicated because
that makes sense. Yeah.
when you put your I guess your friend that was in the car with you during the crime, even when they asked her, she was like, you know what I mean? She was confused. You know what I mean? So, like I said, some of this stuff should have just been thrown out. The justice system definitely needs to be changed. It needs to reform. Prison needs to reform, and that's what you're fighting for, and that's what you're. But you know what I mean? You got your book coming out. Hopefully, a movie's made about you. I know those seeds.
Never use the word hope. Just say it's coming out.
It is.
Right.
It's coming.
We hate the word
It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
When
Yeah,
the movie
so-
comes out, we'll be at the premiere. We're gonna come to the premiere.
If you need an extra, little rugged looking guy from Detroit, all the way in the back, I'm down.
Alex is trying to make his debut.
I guess that you got out. Things have changed for you. A lot of things have changed, and I know you said you're still great friends with your wife. Prison. You got out before her. How challenging is it dating now since you got out? How challenging? I know you're like,
how is she doing?
She's doing very well. She's doing very well.
That's
and
good.
I told Enrique, we were together for 5 years. So she is somebody. I feel like the system damaged me. I'm gonna just put that out there. It damaged me because I was very codependent on just one person, right? Like you couldn't really have too many friends. You couldn't trust people. So a part of me had to die, and in doing that, like I was so dependent just on her. So coming out, I was like, how am I gonna live without her? Like, who am I gonna talk to? Like, she's there with me all day. So I'm still.
You got out before her, right?
You're still learning. You're still coping. Yeah, there's still some things.
It's been very challenging.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and
Still fresh. Gotta be.
In the world, like. What I realized about people is that they don't like to communicate. In prison, all we do is talk, right? We don't have cell phones. We're knocking on each other's door, like, "Well, hey, how was your phone call with your mom?" And
it's like you're back in the real world, like the or what we grew up from, and
nobody communicates. And when they do, it's like what I've encountered is that they're not being honest about what they're talking about because you have capitalism, which ruins a lot of people, and they want to shine, they want this and they want that, and it isn't their fault, right? We have to hold the system accountable. So it's very hard. I don't understand a lot of people now. I don't understand like their stance. I don't understand when they're telling me things. I don't believe things. Like so I live in a world where I'm just like, where am I?
So I got a quick question about as far as like social media, and that's why once again it was like I was scared to even nervous to even because I'm like you're dealing with so much, but and like I said, I'm nobody. What do I have to lose? A no or not or not a reply. So
we're all a bunch of cool nobodies.
But
out here making a difference.
Right.
Yeah, right.
So my question is like what blows your mind about social media? Like just being on it and
girl, that's a whole nother God. Yeah. There's so much.
I'm gonna let you guys know because I was in prison so long. I don't really use social media the way a lot of people use it today.
Good.
So
Right.
I don't use it in that sense because I'm not used to using it, right? So I use it for posting and I put
Right.
stories up. But what I see other people, they're like, they're scrolling,
Right.
they're searching, they're
Right.
like,
Yes,
Like I see
glued.
you cooking one time. I was like, oh shit. Now she's cooking and
Glued.
everything.
And you
It
know what?
was
There's
amazing.
nothing
That was
wrong.
amazing
There is
though. It was
nothing
cool.
wrong with you
It's
not
cool.
using it like the other people.
no,
Actually,
I
I
don't use
think
it
that's
like that.
amazing. I think
I
that's
gotta
amazing because so many people are stuck and their phone is like a prison to them.
Listen,
Like
I
they're
met a
both
guy
times that I've
Real.
talked to
Good point,
she's
Tori.
always cooking. So
cooking.
I guess she's got to be a
hey,
man.
that's my kind of girl.
Right.
Yeah.
I was
No,
like,
but I was a
damn.
diva before I went to prison, so I never cooked before. And in there, I was like, God, I just want to make a hot dog. I just want to make a burger. So now,
Right. It
now
looked like you was
I'm
having a ball though when you was doing the cooking and I can't remember what you were cooking, but it
It
looked
was
great.
fun.
I
I
know
love
that.
I
I was
love
like
to cook.
stabbing shit.
Yeah, I love to cook. Even as a diva, I love to cook. So
But
I
I
can
was a
commend that.
feminist and I misinterpreted feminism at the time because, like Socrates says, an unexamined life is a life not worth living. So as we grow and we learn that, what we thought 7 years ago wasn't what we think today, right? And that's
Yeah.
what my message is like we always change, we always grow, and never box yourself in, never tell yourself I know everything because we don't, right? So I
No.
thought feminists don't cook back in the day. I was like, I'm
Right.
Puerto Rican, I'm not gonna hand you your milk. I'm not gonna fry
Oh.
you chicken. I'm gonna stand up. I'm gonna make money and I'm gonna be smart. I didn't realize that people do all that stuff to cook.
She said, I'm not going to fry your chicken.
I'm not doing that today. So I
Right.
confuse,
That's fine.
feminism. And I don't want to do that today. I don't want to box myself in. I'm a
Right.
feminist now who cooks. I'm so strong. I'm independent. I could be everything all at once. And that's what my message is that people could change. We are not who we were, before. You could have made 100 mistakes yesterday and today you could start
Yeah.
over. Science
Right.
proves it, evolution. We are amazing people. And I look at people exactly for who they are. Like my best friend tells me all the time, you really look at people for who they are. I'm not
Mhm.
looking at you because you have a Maybach. I don't
Right.
care about your diamonds.
Right.
It's all amazing. I love that stuff. Don't get me wrong. Do I want to
Right,
shine? Of
right.
course. But I could look at a bomb and I could look at a Maybach exactly the same because they're people. And they have value to me, they have worth. And when I was in prison, people didn't look at us like that. And I've always looked at people like that, and sometimes it's my downfall. But today I have boundaries, Enrique. So I love
Right.
myself. I'm not gonna put myself in
Boundaries are
the
so
way.
healthy.
Right.
They're so good. People get
Yes.
so offended when you tell them you have boundaries. And I always tell
Right.
them, well, lack of boundaries creates a lack of respect.
Well,
But
just tell them
right.
to read Socrates. Like, please don't put me in a
Absolutely.
box because I don't
No,
want to live there.
I think it's healthy for everybody to have boundaries, even when you have them with your friends or your family.
Right.
Again,
Right.
if you don't have boundaries, then it creates a lack of respect, and
Mhm.
people don't understand. They look at that word as it's this
Well,
horrible
Well,
thing, and that you're
right. I was
the
just
best
gonna
restricting your
say.
energy. But no,
the best example that I could give all of you guys, and maybe it's a piece of wisdom that you could take with you forever. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was a Pisces like myself.
A
She's very
gem. Thank
smart.
you. Love
You
gems.
too. Thank you. So what she taught me, because I read a lot about her when I was in prison. She taught me how to compartmentalize and separate, my emotions.
yes,
She was best friends with Antonin Scalia, who is not very popular with liberals, right? He's not very popular in my eyes. But she taught me to compartmentalize that you
Right.
could listen to the word boundaries and box it in and still be a liberal. You could, and a lot of times people get lost in verbiage, they get lost in words, and they're not really thinking that, just because I'm saying boundaries, you don't have to misinterpret it. It's your First Amendment to take information in how you want.
Take it
But be
personal.
responsible, but it's all an opinion, right?
Mhm.
We could debate all day as to what is a boundary. It might
Right.
be one to you, it might not be one to Enrique or
Right.
the fellow up there,
right.
or myself.
It's personal.
Right.
Well, it can be, and it probably isn't. Like, so people get lost a lot of times in words. And in doing that, like, we're
Right.
missing the point that, people just want to grow. Like, let me grow and let me live. If I use the word boundary or use the word fence, or if I use the word, like they say in real estate, I can't think of it right now, but they often use the word boundary a lot when you're studying like real estate and all that. But so my point is that as humans, we get lost in a lot of verbiage, right? And we
Right.
sometimes miss the point. Like my sister here is trying to talk about she's growing. Why do we have to be held back on the word boundary? And like,
Right.
so a lot of
Right.
things are lost. And I try not to do that as a person. I try not to box myself in when it comes up to verbiage or words because it's all opinions, right? they're not really facts. Let's be real. Like we could interpret all day as to what a boundary is, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have,
Absolutely.
it depends on and the people that you surround yourself with, family, friends that you can, you can trust. At the end of the day, they should know these boundaries and stuff. Like I talked to a good friend that I've been friends with since I was like 5 years old, 6 years old, and you just know certain boundaries. Well,
again,
that, so,
like she said, their opinions. So everybody has personal ones to them, and as long as you can clarify them with other people, don't get lost. Again, in the verbiage, you have respect for what your personal. Right, you get lost for what 100%. your personal limits. If you want to call it a limit, if you want to call it boundary, your personal line. What things that you do and don't do for somebody, and each person has their own set of them. But I think when people don't, can she hear us? I think when people don't have that set, when that set of boundary, limit, line, whatever you want to call it, when you don't have that is when there's a problem. When you just could care less what people do to you, or the line that they cross, or the respect, or they give or they don't give. So each person I think should have their personal set.
Like I always say, time
and
place.
What'd you say, Drake?
I need to work on some boundaries.
Yeah, shit. He's a shit.
Time and place. One thing
it
at a time.
Takes a while, and they change. It's not that they stay the same. As you grow, as you evolve, they change with you, and that's a good thing. And people, when I was, because I don't date anymore, but when I was dating, and I would tell people,
that's a
free invite to the DMs.
You better be really fucking awesome.
Now they're really gonna haunt you.
I did some.
Yeah. So, but when I would tell guys like, oh, I got some that's a boundary with me, is that they get so offended, as if like
I've never gotten offended when a woman or girl told me something like that. I'm like, that's cool.
The last guy I dated took such offense to it. He wanted to just, like he just had certain things that he wanted to do or say or act or.
But can you imagine? See, like I would look at it the opposite way. Like, can you imagine? Like, I'm like, well, if I do this,
I look at it as
what
a
I'm
strong
gonna get
thing.
if I do this and respect that for this woman. Oh my God, it's gonna be a whole lot of fun later.
I look at it. I look at it as a strong thing. I look at it as it's a kind of I'm not saying like wild, like weird boundaries, but like something where I look at it as a strength. Like, oh, this person really knows themselves. They know what they do.
They know what they want.
They know what they're going to accept, what they're not going to accept, what they're not going to fucking compromise. No way, no how. Or what they want to be, this is important to them, and whatever it is, they want to be very they want the communication lines to be open, and this is important to them.
And it's so much better like that. It really is, because you're not wasting my time. I'm not wasting your time.
What's that, Drake?
I was gonna say, so let me ask you a question. So if you're doing a Netflix and chill, and a guy goes to the bathroom and then he comes out naked, is that a boundary? I'm just wondering.
I mean, is this the first date or the third date? No, I'm just kidding.
First date.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I'm gonna
do one of those gigs.
I don't really Netflix
like
and
on How I Met Your Mother. When it's the date and the guy's just sitting there
to
naked.
The bathroom.
Right. He's like, by the women being surprised.
So honestly, first date, I don't go to anybody's house. I don't go to anybody's house for a few days.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No, I drive myself. You don't find out where I live.
That's just weird.
Very few people know where I live. You know where I live. I must really think you're a cool person, because I don't fucking tell nobody where I live. I had a friend who used to joke with me, and we've been friends since I was 14 years old. And
come back, Cynthia.
He would joke because he did, like, on the 10 years or whatever, he'd be like, are you ever going to fucking tell me where you live? And I'm like, no. And we're still friends to this day. And he didn't find out where I lived until like probably a few years ago in Michigan. He came by my house to drop off a wrestling shirt for Zach. He goes, I don't even fucking know where you live.
She's back. She's back.
That's funny.
I was the whole time on there. I just couldn't see myself. I was like,
oh, that's okay. You're back.
So let me.
very quick, I was listening to you guys. One thing you guys should learn also in life that it's gonna always protect you is never to put expectations on people. You know, because
absolutely.
we could think that they're listening and they should.
I'll clap to that.
You're gonna be
For
let
sure.
down a lot. Like I don't put expectations on people because I don't expect them to know everything about me. I don't expect you to know all of my boundaries. I don't expect you to follow all of them because you're gonna be let down. The only person with that
Not until that, but it's true.
is yourself. Is your actions and how you move towards that action.
Yeah.
So you have to use all of the two belts. Learn a little bit about existentialism and how your choices, and we can't put expectations on people because we're going to be let down a lot
Every time.
For sure.
I'm not if I'm going through some shit and somebody's like hurting me, I have to know, damn, Sin, well, I put myself in that situation. I knew that they were broken from the beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
Adios.
Yes, but the whole point is that we can't expect people to know all of our boundaries or assume and even able to know how to internalize exactly what we want.
Right.
So,
even after so long, even after a year or two,
Well,
like
because we're all
Tori said,
evolving, we're all
people
changing.
change, we evolve.
Now,
Sometimes we take steps back.
Absolutely. And exactly. Logic is definitely.
Logic is different. Like, oh, well, that's wrong. You shouldn't be doing it. You should
Right.
Keyword.
Girl, common sense is different.
That's the word of the day right there. Logic, for sure. For sure.
Even common sense. Some have it, some don't.
Yeah,
So now you've been out. It's been a 1-year anniversary. I know technology was a huge challenge for you. How are you doing with that now? Is it better? Are you still kind of like trying to learn things? Because I know we talked about you're like
1 year is fresh.
I don't even know how to send an email. I just replied to the same email.
I just hit reply
is it getting better? Is it getting better?
It's getting better. Yesterday, I did my taxes for the first time with somebody who was from the prison.
Congratulations!
Awesome.
Yay! Congratulations!
I'm trying to learn and try.
Notary public in the works.
I did over the phone with the prison person who used to visit me in prison, and but it's still very intimidating for me. I noticed that I've become deterred a lot. Like when they're asking for passcodes, I'm like, I'm not dealing with this. I'm just not.
Right.
Yeah. So it is a deterrent at times for me. When I succeed, I'm happy, but like everything else in life, it's very challenging. It's very difficult for me because we didn't have technology in prison, and I don't. Like, I'm really good at operating Instagram. People are like, well, how don't you know you have all these followers? I'm like,
you are.
But I don't know technology. I just know Instagram. That's very simple. Just you hit next and you write a caption.
Right.
Your story
Put a
is
picture.
very, very,
Boom, done.
Your story is very powerful though.
On technology.
I understand it. It's getting better.
No, I was gonna say it doesn't help. It doesn't help having the guy with the magic hands by your side sometimes too.
You ain't.
You know what I mean? So, there's a lot of help comes from everywhere. And like I said, your story is very powerful. And the things you do is you're great. It's all about content, being consistent, and you are extraordinary with it. So
thank you.
You're powerful, and all the things that have happened to you are part of your purpose. And so now this is, just keep following it because it was the foundation for your purpose. Even all the trials and tribulations and struggles are going to be the juiciest parts of your story in your book.
That's so true. And you know what? Like before, I would have said, like to me that was philosophical. But today, I can say that I look at it more as like a fact in my life that I went through all of that because there is a purpose in that. Because
look who you are today.
I've seen some shit that really like mess with my spirit, imagine like your friends and your comrades just hanging themselves, putting a bag over their heads because they just want to suffocate and die. Or there's a lot of scars I have in my spirit and things that I will never be able to forget, right?
No.
But that's why I push forward because I know, like when I first got out, I could have just moved to Los Angeles. I have a lot of friends there, and I could have just forgot about everything. But I can't forget about everything. It's hard. It's hard, and that's why I push, and that's why I'm like, you know what? If just one more person could know about me, then they'll know about Brody. They'll know about.
They'll look at you and they'll say, if she can do it, I'm not going to give up.
The fight is not over.
Because
The fight's
of her,
never over.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give up. And
The
even if
mental
it's
health
one
of it.
person, the people that you can reach and help, and maybe, you know, stop somebody who came across you and they were thinking about ending their life that day.
Listen, one of my
You're
followers,
a powerful light. Keep
one of my
shining.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
followers
I'm
was
sure you've
going to
done it
commit
already.
suicide and hit me
Ah,
a DM while I was doing something with Cornell Law. I was literally on the same thing like I'm with you guys, and I
Okay.
get a DM. It was a very, very emotional DM.
Wow.
I was like, wow, like, you know, my video really. A year ago, I was a girl in a brown uniform with a number on my shirt, you know, who nobody will listen to. And today,
Right.
you are thinking you're
you're a
contemplating
movement.
on
Today,
not
you're a
even
movement. Don't worry about what you
Yeah,
were
he was telling me
yesterday.
like,
Today, you're a movement.
no. I just say it. I
It's
say
amazing
it
though when
because I like
that reality
to
hits
stay
again
humble,
from a
right?
message.
I want
Yeah.
to always be humble.
Right.
Yeah, I always want to be humble, and I always want people to know I was a year ago, I was nobody in my eyes because nobody knew about me. I was just hidden in Pennsylvania and nobody cared about
Right.
me. And
You were
here's this
you were a
man who
movement in the making.
For
I
sure.
was a movement in the grew up in a
You
movement
were
since
a
I was
movement
born. I
in the
was crying since
making.
I was little.
Same,
Right.
girl.
I was
Same.
like, why are you handing
Same.
him that glass of milk, Mom? I would always say that. I'm like, why are you handing him the milk? Like, he can get it himself.
That's the
And
Boricua
my
right
dad was
there.
like, just be
Come on,
quiet.
let's be real.
But why don't you like a lot of people of color? Like I would always challenge everything. Like,
Right,
and I was
right.
always that type of person. But it was
Good.
dormant in the sense of like, you know, like I was talking to Enrique, I lost myself in pills, you know, and not loving myself from the traumas of growing up in North Philly, like, you know, all of that.
Damn.
I was losing myself. And that's
Right.
what my message is like to a lot of people, like, you know, I am not my worst day. You know, I have a lot of things where I could crawl in the corner and be shameful about. But I am going to use that today as a voice to say, I was that girl in the corner on the hospital bed withdrawn from pills. You know, that was me. And
Right.
it's okay if that's you today. Because
Yeah.
tomorrow you might be somebody different. That doesn't
Right.
define who you are. And a lot of times we become judgmental of others. And I never want to become that person. It doesn't mean that I don't talk shit at times. We all are guilty of talking shit, you know, but I don't want to be the person who is casting out others or excluding people because I was excluded for so long. You know, we are all capable of change. We are all beautiful, you know, children of the universe, of God, however you want to verbalize that, because we get lost all day talking about verbiage, you know, when it comes
And
to
the universe and the different labels.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like,
that's just
I hear you.
anybody
Like,
who you are, Muslim, Christian, Catholic, we love everybody.
Humans,
God made you, the
souls,
world made you.
we have to just
beautiful souls.
learn to appreciate each other and lift each other up because it's so much better that way.
Yeah.
You know,
So many people get lost in that label of what they were. You know, I meet a lot of a friend of mine, she's a close friend of mine, works a lot with the homeless, and so I'm very blessed to meet, you know, these people in these walks of lives, and they're like, well, you know, I'm a felon and I'm this. I said, that's not who you are. Just because that happened before, don't wear that label today.
Right.
There's so much more you can do with your life. There's so much more that you are. To wear the label just because that experience happened to you. Use that experience like you something happened to you, but you moved past it. Don't wear that as a red, you know, the scarlet letter on your shirt for the rest of your life, because that's not who you are.
Right.
Exactly.
So, I know we're gonna. I want to tell you congratulations. It's a huge victory. What that you've done.
Absolutely.
You're. I have some social questions for you.
Go ahead.
So the COVID vaccine, CDC just said, and I'll read it to you. Fully vaccinated people can travel at low risk to themselves. That's a new CDC guideline. My question to you is definitely, I know I want to travel. I recently got the vaccine. Is that something that you're getting?
Well, I could say to you that because I was in prison so long, I'm a little biased about the government.
Okay.
A lot of things.
Okay.
Never got a flu shot while I was in prison, and
Mhm.
my
Right.
friend who was a doctor was like, "You're crazy. You need to get a flu shot."
Right.
And I'm
Right,
like,
right.
"I want the flu shot. What do I do? It's going in my veins." So,
Do that again.
I'm very
I love
biased.
that.
Do it
You're like-
again.
I'm biased a little bit. get a little. So like, even though I had friends that were doctors inside, right? Like, because anybody could commit a crime, and she was innocent, but she died as an innocent woman.
Oh wow!
Rest her soul.
Condolences.
Yeah, thank you. But my point is that I don't really know about that. Today, I'm unsure. Tomorrow, I might say, you know what? Like somebody said, right? An unexamined life. So I'm still examining those possibilities about the shot. I contemplated. I had a lot of questions. I figure like I fall this far and I'm alive, right? I'm thinking, do I really need a shot? Like, or is my purpose to just not take the shot and just keep fighting and just maybe I'll die? Like, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of
questions.
It's tough. It's tough for all of us to decide.
But tomorrow I might change my mind. And that's what my whole message about stop is like, right? Never box yourself in, because what I believe today, I might change my mind tomorrow.
It could change, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So how do you?
And it's okay. If and when it comes, you'll know.
So how do you feel about the different states, like let's say Texas, Arizona, where I'm at? The governor just dropped the mask mandate. How do you feel? Do you think that we're going in the right directions, or you think it's too soon and states still mandate the mask?
When you say mandate, you're talking about the vaccine?
No, we're talking about
the masks. Wearing masks.
Oh,
yeah. To protect.
So, okay, the mask. So first, I hate the mask because I wear makeup and it ruins my makeup. So, and it's hard for me to breathe in the dark. I like to be cute, but so I think that the Constitution basically states, right, that the states are allowed to make their own laws, right?
Right.
On a state level, and that is a constitutional thing that sometimes I like and sometimes I don't, because felony murder in Pennsylvania is life without parole, but if you are convicted in, I believe, New Mexico, you get 5 years. So it's a beautiful thing, because hey, I'm happy for the people in New Mexico who get 5 years. But I'm sad for the people in Pennsylvania. Right. So I want the states to have their own rights to do what they want, right? Because that's what the Constitution states. Do I believe that, the Constitution should change a lot? Absolutely. I believe it needs a lot of revising, a lot of changing. I don't want to take power away from the states to do what they believe is right. But I feel that, as a person and as an American, I shouldn't be forced to do things all the time that the state wants, right? I am a fighter. I am an agitator, an abolitionist. Obviously, I'm not very popular with people in power when it comes up to the government. I probably have like a little checklist by my name, like, she needs to go.
No asterisk.
So they're very intrusive, I think, and I don't think it's a really good thing, because it's not teaching our kids a lot, like to be free and to make their own choices. If you have a choice to have freedom of religion, right? Freedom to take, if you don't want to take a vaccine, you shouldn't have to. And I feel like we're becoming too intrusive, and it's a very dangerous thing. Right. And with that being said, I respect people's choices. I try not to, impose my beliefs on people. I would like for people to evolve, but I might be wrong.
Do you believe that the masks help? Do you
I believe
that
it
the
hurts me
help?
because I can't breathe when I have it on. It's hurting me. I can't breathe.
I meant, do you believe it helps the spread? It helps cut down the spread of this virus?
Honestly, with you, like to be honest with you, I am a critic of a lot of things that the government says, right? Yeah. So I would have to question if that is even true, right? Like I have to question it, because I don't know this information, and until I see it, I don't really know.
Right.
So I don't believe everything that I hear. I know that people were taught for a lot of years to be afraid of blacks and browns because of racial episteme, and it was something that was taught. It was a conditioning of the mind. I don't know if this is the conditioning of the mind. Is CDC in bed with the politicians? I don't know. Are they in bed with the pharmaceutical companies? I don't know. Do I believe they can be? Absolutely, because
just so many things up in the air.
Yeah.
It's understandable. I mean,
it makes sense.
It is the government. I mean,
so I'm going to ask you a political question.
I love being on with you guys. I know. I love being on with you guys. You guys are.
I appreciate it. We appreciate it.
It's a political question.
Oh, I love politics. I am a nerd.
The New York governor, which is a state of you guys, wants to legalize recreational marijuana. Now, if you're watching Governor Cuomo, and this is a subject that touches home. He's been inappropriate with women.
To legalize marijuana recreation.
Right. So he's been inappropriate with women.
They just did, yeah.
So he just did. So
but
have you been
following him at all?
following him at all. Governor Cuomo has been accused of inappropriate with women, touching, feeling, harassing women. And like I said, this has come close to you. This is a subject because it is a man of power that has abused his power. Now I feel like he's trying to save his job, legalizing marijuana. He's trying to take the heat off himself because he's been inappropriate with women.
So first, I'm going to say that since I've been out of prison, I don't watch any television. Okay.
Okay.
Because then I would be ignorant, right? Like, but it's a joke that I tell people. In prison, I never watched TV either because my comrades who were very smart always told me to never become programmed, right? With all of the they focus.
Everything they're feeding you, right?
Now, when I was
I don't watch TV there for that reason.
I watched a lot of CNN, a lot of book TV. I watched things that were like more knowledgeable to learn. I don't watch any news. I haven't been following Cuomo. I'm never on the internet to follow stuff. I should be, but I'm not. I live in a little bubble, a little castle of like yoga and like being cute and just manifestation and just being a good person, right? But I can say that I will give him his due diligence and his due process, right? Because I don't know what happened yet, right? So if I'm going to just start pointing fingers at people, then it's the same thing what people did to me. So I always try to give people their due process.
Do your research. Like I always say.
You have to also know, right? Like the research in my case, the homicide detective said I did a lot of things, and then he turned out to be a corrupt cop. So we have to also be bias of research as well. You always have to ask yourself a lot of questions. Is this research junk research? Who wrote it?
Right. For sure. Always.
Right. Is there an ulterior motive?
Double and triple check your sources.
It's back to Socrates.
For sure.
But listen, Socrates is my favorite person in the world. An unexamined life, a life not worth living. So is this evidence against this person in prison even real? Who wrote it? You know, where does it come from? Is it why did they say that? Because my detective said a lot of things I did and were not true. Even in the newspaper article, it wasn't true. So I'm very biased as to things that I read, and I have to know. I can say that the Cuomo family, from what I know, it is a progressive family. His brother's a reporter on CNN. Which I love his brother. Like
I love his brother too.
Like a good person. I don't really know too much about the one in New York, except for he was progressive. Is he riding the fence? He could be. Could he be using it for this or that? Absolutely. They're politicians. They know what they do. Was he perfect? Probably not. None of us are. I don't know what he did when it comes to allegations with women. And I have to take into consideration as well that, you know, in the society that we live today, people use the media to, you know, to demean people and to basically get us to engage in this type of conversation. So I have to give him his due process first. I would have to say that I am not knowledgeable about what he has done. Do I think he has done great things so far? Yes, I believe he can do better. Do I think that he's probably guilty of some things? We all are guilty a little bit of something, you know?
Right. Of course. Right.
We've all done some things and we're like, geez, I shouldn't have been thinking.
You're like, shit, I did that.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
Now, marijuana, I think it should be legal because I don't think that we should be imposing on people like, you know.
Marijuana should absolutely be legal. It should not be considered a Class A drug. It's not like heroin or pills or any of this. Yeah.
But I can say this to you, like about when it comes up to those other types of drugs as well. Like we have to know that, like, you know, people should do what they want, right? Like, because they're going to do it anyway. And if they're going to do it, let's let them do it in a safe, legal way. Like, so I am for even like, you know, I live in Philly. It's a lot of drugs, a lot of, oh my God, there's like so much drugs under the L. But I'm the type of person that if a person wants, I'm not encouraging them to do that. Right. But if they want to do it, like, why not? I don't want to arrest them for it. I don't want to.
I believe that I personally believe that if people are caught doing that,
it's a mental health issue. It shouldn't be a criminal.
That they should be offered treatment. That I don't think that they should be incarcerated. I mean, I look at the way other countries do it, and I think it's is it Amsterdam that has where. And some people might not agree with this, but they actually have spaces where you can go to, kind of like how they have the red light, you know, district, but they have spaces where you can go to if you have a drug addiction and that you want to use, and it's a safe zone. And you know, some people might think that's crazy, but if you
Colorado is the same way.
But if you look at their levels they're significantly lower. And I mean, they're offered mental health, they're offered different tools, and they're not shunned in society. And, there's just, they just go about it a whole different way. So
I got one.
Really quick, I'm very liberal and very progressive. And a lot of times people don't understand that. Even in family members, they're like, this girl's crazy. Like, she wants killers.
No, you just care. That's all.
I know I said that was.
they're like, what the fuck is going on?
That was the last question, but I got one more because it just jumped up. So the Capitol Police officer dead after wounded after a car ran into the barrier yesterday. Subject killed. And I know this is a huge topic, and you say you're liberal. What do you think about Biden wants to take assault weapons off? Are you a gun owner? How do you feel about the gun?
Weapons off?
He wants assault weapons gone. So what's your thoughts of the massive shootings that's been happening lately? So what is your thoughts, and what's your thoughts about guns?
So I'm a very I'm gonna say, I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but I would like to say I'm intelligent. So I understand the racial episteme of how America has been conditioning people to be afraid of Black and brown people. So it's just fight or flight, put your gun out and just kill, right? So cops are scared. Right. I get that. The government has a lot of responsibility, and they need to take responsibility for that, and not individualize like every cop, because it has been something that has been going on for a long time. Right. I believe that people should have guns. I believe that, people should do what they want to do in life. I'm a very progressive, liberal person. As long as you're not hurting anybody, have your guns. I don't think guns should be taken away. I think that people need to learn to be responsible, and they need to be responsible for themselves. And I don't think that we should have this universal thing as to like try to chastise people. I don't live like that. I live free.
You think that they should have access to these military assault rifles? No. Military assault rifles that are used in, these weapons of destruction compared to a gun. I'm very for having a gun and protecting yourself, your family, hunting, all that, but an actual assault weapon.
I'm gonna tell you, girl, I live in North Philly, right? I'm 5'2".
I'm from Detroit. I already know, girl.
Okay, so if somebody comes, I'm gonna just give you a little example.
Philly is rough.
I'm gonna give you a little example. If somebody comes up my steps and there's like 3 guys, a little gun of shooting a little gun, baby girl, is not going to help me much.
Yeah.
So I have
a shotgun
power to defend myself. So I'm not going to look at it in an emotional place, right? I'm not going to say there was a million mass murderers, because then I have to say the government is responsible for a lot of things they did in the Middle East, right? I would have to say they're responsible for a lot of the racism. So should I punish other people because of what the government does? I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to say that everybody is an individual. And if you have mental health issues, you shouldn't have a gun. If you have racism, you need help, right? So we could engage in all of that. But I know for myself, I live in a very dangerous place. And I know that if I had an assault rifle, I probably would feel a little bit better at night. I know it's probably crazy. People are probably never going to follow me again, but I'm smart. I know.
I think that's the issue.
I think the issue is the hands that these weapons get put into that have mental health issues.
No, right.
And I mean, somebody the other day said it. Oh, here go the white people shooting up fucking grocery stores again. Like and I'm not. I'm going to say what it is. It is what it is. You don't see no Latino going and shooting up a fucking Kroger. You don't see these things happening. You just don't.
There was a really racist woman in the prison, and she was like one of those. She was very racist, and she had the same mindset, and it's very unfortunate and it's very sad.
It is, isn't it?
And I feel like people like that. I just want to hug them. I just want to tell them, like, I love you. Like, calm down, because if you wanted to get into some shit, I would be there for you. Like, and it's like I can't really box myself in to say what I would want them not to have, because a lot of people come from hurt places, and it doesn't make it right what they do. I'm not saying that, but it doesn't make it right that my brothers up there might want to have a nice little assault.
So here's a question. If you believe everybody should be able to own whatever they want, assault rifles, little guns, big guns, boom, boom, whatever. How do you feel about the process of those? Getting a gun in regards to mental health. Do you?
Before you answer, and because I own an AR-15,
I love an AR-15. I love to shoot them too.
Get them, girl.
I think there should be some steps of getting those assault weapons. There should be some. If you have some mental issues, that should be definitely you should not. Go ahead, I'll let you into that.
You shouldn't. I believe that when you have mental health issues, it compromises a lot, right? I had mental health issues. I was buying pills on the drug corner. I got in prison. I was in prison for life, you know, and I believe I'm still have mental health issues because
we all do.
Yeah, I have a lot of like thoughts where some days I'm sad. I'm like, you know what? I just go crazy. And then some days I'm so happy. Like, but I'm rational enough to understand that like I cannot do certain things because I would get myself in trouble. Now, people that don't understand that type of boundary or line or whatever, it's dangerous, right? And I tell people all the time, just living is a risk. I might go to the store and I might be killed right now. Like, you know, I try not to live in fear. I think that there should be rules on guns. I don't know.
There should be screenings.
There should be screenings, but then I also have to say, like, I know a lot of smart people that can get over a lot of those screenings. You know,
and they can.
Screenings. Like, so we could have a million screenings. Then what? Like, is it going to?
I kind of feel like there should be. For me personally, I look at the other things that they regulate in the world, like to get a driver's license, when you get a suspended license, when you're going for a job, you have to take classes. You might have to take a mental health evaluation or a physical or a drug test. There's certain things and hoops that they make people jump through to prove who they are for the littlest things.
Yeah,
but you could just walk in and get a weapon of mass destruction and fuck up everybody's life.
I don't know if it's.
I mean, you look at the guy who just killed those people at the grocery store, and he bought the gun 6 days prior.
They do background checks, but you know what? There's also people.
You know, I don't know all the logistics of it and all the details, but he was 21 years old. His sister-in-law states that he's talking to himself, talking about he thinks people are after him. He's hearing voices leading up to this. Okay, so he has a history of mental health, and he went in one day, bought the gun, boom, 6 days prior was playing with the gun in front of everybody inside the house. So one day he just went and bought the gun. So I don't think that that's right.
Should have reported that. Like,
absolutely, they're to blame too.
Well, I feel like we all should just take accountability and we should all be responsible.
Yes,
exactly. You know, say, okay, my brother did X, Y, and Z, because now you're coming forward after you killed somebody. So, you know, like it's a fine line again as to like what I believe and how I want to, you know, box myself in those beliefs, because they're always changing. So I'm very progressive. Like I said, I'm very liberal. I believe in individual choices. I believe that the government messes a lot of people up and they don't help people after messing them up. I try to heal people. I try to make changes. I try to be very understanding. I'm very understanding of people that you probably wouldn't even imagine. And a lot of people get on me for it, but it's the way that I want to live. I want to live free. And I want to try to understand, but also, of course, I want to be intelligent and I want to, you know, prevent people from being hurt. So I do believe, you know, there should be measures. There should be more questions. Family members should be more accountable. I don't want to lock myself in and say that they're to blame, because I really can't say that either, because they might be going through trauma, but our whole world needs help, right? We could all agree on that. Our world
I feel like they need to speak up. You know, a lot of us, they need to speak up. They're so afraid to speak up. They've been trained to just keep to themselves or to mind their business or to not give a fuck. And it's cool to give a fuck. Like, give lots of fucks.
Right.
Or report. Like, if I know my brother has mental health issues and he's trying to get a gun, I'm gonna be like, listen, he's crazy. He's trying to get a gun.
He's crazy, and now he's sitting on the couch playing with the gun 4 days later. Like,
then the sister needs to like come forward. But
and you know what? And you know, there's people. I know of friends that have went and co-signed for other people, and they gave them the money, and they bought 2 guns for them and 2 for them, and so. There's always a way around it. It's not necessarily
I'm a firm believer. There's got to be some more
co-signing for people now on guns. It's crazy, right?
No, I just feel that there should be
a lot more important things
to things that are could be so devastating to people, families, communities. I'm not saying they shouldn't be able to own them, because I think that people who are in their right mind and their responsibility, they're responsible humans, and they, you know, have respect for another human life and in general, that I think that they should be able to have that right. But I also believe that there should be a couple, if you're that, you know, if you have respect for human life and this, you know, you want to carry this responsibility of owning these things, then I don't think that you would have a problem knowing that you're going to jump through a couple hoops to get them, because you're helping save other people in your community. You're helping your fellow human by making sure that they get put in the right hands and not somebody who can just get it super easy. There's got to be some kind of system that needs to come together.
I know that there's a lot of stigma in our world. So like, as somebody like me who's
a lot of what?
Stigma. Like,
stigma.
Me,
okay.
I'm coming out of prison. I don't have a license. I still have a DUI from 13 years ago, right? So trying to get my license has been like such an uphill battle.
Oh yeah.
But the problem is that it's because I have a stigma. So a lot of people don't have stigmas, and then they're buying guns, and then it's stigma, and then we worry about it.
Right.
But I think the NRA needs to do a better job.
And even with the screening, I'm a firm believer that that felons should be able to own guns again when they come out and they're rehabilitated.
Oh, I need a gun. Because
there is
right.
Right.
I need
I don't think that should be, and maybe, you know, people might think I'm fucking crazy too and stop following me as well. But you know, I don't judge you for what you did 5 years ago. I'm not judging you for what you did then, because who you were then and who you were now, hopefully you're not the same person. Now, let's not get it twisted. There's a lot of people that come out that could be the same fucking person.
Yeah,
but
that's right.
We all know those people, right? But I'm not going to put that label on you. You are who you show me.
Same with the guns. So we have to take that same mindset and we have to wrap it around a philosophy of how we want to be as humans. Now, I can say that, you know, people need to do a better job when it comes up to guns, because it's hard for me to get my license. Why is it so easy to get a gun, right?
And that was my point. Exactly.
It is, but it's like, how are we going to do that without infringing on people's constitutional rights? It's a fine line. I think that the NRA needs to do a better job and not the government, because we are crossing a line where our constitutional rights are being infringed upon. And for me, it's a very dangerous place for somebody who has encountered system.
It's about the money for the NRA. Let's be real.
Well, it's about the money. It's about the money, but it's a whole nother.
And that's why them in the government probably butt heads, and it's never, you know, it's always going to be a problem. So
it's like, do I want to take everybody's rights away because the government is in bad?
Same thing with the marijuana thing. It's, you know,
but again, it shouldn't be so hard for you to get a driver's license and easy to get a gun. Right. I think it's totally ass backwards.
Right, and it shouldn't be hard.
Listen, why don't they just put the rules to getting a driver's license on the guns, and we'll be okay?
Right.
Yo,
great idea, for real.
Boom.
I mean,
boom.
Like they say, when you get your license, do you want to be a donor? Do you want to be a donor? Okay, they should ask you, do you want to be a gun owner too? So that's a pretty good idea.
You get one fucked up ticket and you're in a Saturday morning class for 3 fucking years.
There you go. Right.
They could have technology that could read your mind. So they should have your head in like a screen, and they should be like, do you want to get a gun? Do you want to
we got the technology, supposedly.
And I had said this before. I think that mental health screening should be a regular thing, even for police officers, correctional officers, people of power, people with guns. I don't think that they should take one fucking physical, one doctor's appointment, and they've been on the force for 20 fucking years, and never have another mental evaluation. You can't go.
But then it could be
but there's so many things. Okay, look at all the stuff you went through in that amount of time you were in prison, right? Now look at a guard, and I'm not saying a corrupted guard. I'm just saying look at a guard from who they are as a person, as a human, you know. And now they're going through these traumas as well, because I'm sure there's things for them that they're coping with. So they are treating people a certain way because they're not being trained to figure out their own traumas, and now they're being fucking assholes and pieces of shit to other people, and they're putting that on them. There should be mental health evaluations, just like you have to take a driver's test. There's, you have to get a physical for a job.
Drug tests, all that shit. All that type of stuff. I mean, they're quick to drug test somebody, you know.
Girl, I'm not even, you can't even argue that. I know prison. I don't know your struggle, and I am so proud of you.
It's angry. You know, it perpetuates hate and violence. Same with gun violence. It's a mental health issue. People are angry, and people are they just want to take it out on people. They want to hurt people. They're misdirecting rage, and our country needs healing. You know, Mother Teresa says, if you persist, things will if you persist, things resist. So it's like
Yeah.
you can't keep pushing against something and not expect for it to keep going. The
Right.
answer is healing, and it's more love than anything else. And
Exactly.
I feel like people are losing that in life. You know, it's so easy to hate. It's so easy
Right.
to be mad,
For sure.
but it's really hard to love, and it's hard to have understanding. And I always want to be the person on the other side who has love and understanding. And if it costs me, you know, a lot of hardships in life, I still want to choose that path because
Right.
I
Yeah.
never want to
Move
be
from love.
compromised. I never want to be compromised. I never want to, you know, infringe on another person's liberties as an American. And it's a dangerous line when you
Yeah.
live in a free society. You have to risk that you're going to be murdered in
And
a
you
mass shooting.
and not to really hate to speak for you, but like you don't want nobody to go through anything that you went through. I mean,
No.
like you want them to be happy, and so
I
Right.
want to
And that's what you're telling your story.
it's easier
But
said than done. But you know,
point you
gotta
you
start
hit it
somewhere.
up is that's what's wrong with the country. I think we need more love. I'm sorry, I'm a
Absolutely.
We don't need
Absolutely.
more rules.
It's so
We
cliche,
just
but
need
it's
love.
so real.
yeah.
It
So
really is.
It's the
More
truth.
love, more empathy. People just don't have it these days.
Listen,
And then you
our
had a leader
country-
who told you it was okay to not love people and to create boundaries and to hate each other and move from a place of hate, thinking
Right.
that they were going to get love from hate. And it's never how that works.
Listen,
you can
our
only get love from
country-
a place of love.
Our country conditions people to have revenge instantaneously.
Yes.
You know,
Rules.
butt heads.
I don't like
Right.
a lot of rules. Obviously, I'm very progressive. When I say progressive in the sense of I think free. I believe that not everybody is going to do a mass shooting.
Right.
I believe that not everybody is going to do bad things with a gun. I believe
Right.
that there is some in every, you know, sect of everything in life that are a little bit of messed up in everybody. But I don't want to put rules. I don't want to keep adding
Yeah.
to how
It just makes
baggage.
things worse. It makes
I don't
things
want that.
worse.
Yeah,
in
I
my
just
opinion.
want
Right.
for people to have healing. And that's why I try the talking that I do on social media. Like, it's really to change a person's mind, to engage
Right.
in the thinking of like, wow, I was racist on Monday and I'm going to encounter
Right.
a system. They're not
Right.
going to care if I'm a white supremacist when I go to jail or prison.
Right.
They're not going
Right.
to care about you, bro,
Right.
because you are going to be cast into the domain of people who aren't anything in the eyes of the government. So that is my message, and I try to do it all the time. I have friends that are very biased about prisoners, but they're changing their minds.
Right.
And that's
Right.
what I was meant to do in this world. You know, my
Right.
friends
Yes.
used to like a lot of rules, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, please don't talk to me about all those rules. I don't like those rules.
Yeah, hush
Right.
your
You
mouth.
make the rules and we will break
So-
them.
Rules are meant to be
My own friend,
broken.
My
Right.
best friend is a lawyer. My best friend is a lawyer, so you could imagine our conversations.
Oh
You know,
gosh.
I come at her a lot. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
I'd love to have both of you on one
I'm
for
like,
a show
whoa,
maybe
whoa,
down
whoa.
the road. That'd be
Oh,
awesome.
whoa.
I know. Like, where is she at right now? Because I don't know you right now. But it's part of growing and learning. She's a
But you respect
professional.
each other's opinions, obviously.
We
of
do,
course,
we
of
do.
course.
But I have to make sure I put in my opinion in there as a
Right.
person who, now I'm gonna say
Right.
I don't care, but it's like I don't really care what people think about me. You could cast
Right.
me in the category of being
Right,
ratchet
right, right.
or too progressive. It's okay.
Ratchet
They
and
haven't-
righteous. Fuck
They
it.
haven't
Yeah,
been
all of those
treated.
labels.
Right.
Just don't box me in as saying I want to be authoritative. Don't tell me that I want to impose all these rules because I don't want to be like that.
Right.
It's been done to me too
Yeah.
much. It's not helpful. It perpetuates hate and violence. And our country needs more love. And it needs to be more like the Indians, more egalitarian, more inclusive, and more inviting. It doesn't mean that we need everybody from all the world to come here. So
Right.
don't misinterpret what I'm saying. And I
Right.
hate when people do that. They misinterpret. They take bits and pieces and then they think they know everything. No, we know nothing at all, according to Socrates. And we're learning as we go. And when we don't know, we just take the negative path towards knowledge and rejecting everything that we thought was true and just and
Right.
abandoning that and learning again, right? So that's my message today. Like, as you guys see, I'm extremely progressive. I live in like this little bubble of like happiness and love, and I believe that's what helped me
It's
to
amazing.
survive prison.
Keep manifesting it. Keep
It's
pushing
amazing.
your purpose.
Always.
Yes.
Once
Three
Keep your
bad days.
consciousness high. Keep your vibration high.
So once
Yes.
again, congratulations, Cynthia
I
Alvarado.
love
You are an amazing woman.
I love you. Thank
One
you.
of the strongest.
Yeah, you've done some amazing
Yeah.
things. We are going to see your book on the shelf soon.
Yes.
We're going to see
I
you
want
on.
it signed. I want a signed copy.
So just to let you know the status of the book, I wrote the book. I'm very proud of myself. My first year was just nothing but typing and writing. And my friends were like, come on. I'm like, not right now. I gotta write. So the lawyer right now, like he reserved my rights. We're finding a publishing company. So it's a process that I thought was going to be a lot easier. But like everything in my life, nothing is easy for me. Everything has always been hard. And I believe it's the way that I'm supposed to go because I am a pioneer. I am a trendsetter. I am a person who breaks stereotypes and boundaries. And it's just part of my journey. And I wouldn't change it for nothing. It makes me who I am. And I'm so happy that you guys invited me on this live. I'm
happy you accepted. We all on track and speak for us. And like they say, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. So
you
know what I mean?
Go ahead and plug your Instagram, and we want you to have a great Saturday. You're, like I said, you're an amazing woman. Congratulations again to 1%. Go ahead and plug your Instagram, and then
definitely two of the strongest women I've ever been part of the show. For sure, and it's an honor. It really is.
Because I take pride in being strong. I'm like, don't let them see you cry, girl. I was was crying.
Thank you for
people see you cry.
Sharing and showing your vulnerability.
Suck it up, girl. Suck it up.
Crying about this.
Thanks for putting some tears in our eyes, and it's very humbling, and sometimes it needs to happen. It makes us feel better.
Thank you for sharing your story with us.
Oh, you're welcome, Boo. So I guess I'll be putting this on my link tree. I'm still new at Instagram, so my follower helps me do all of that. So,
I'll send you the video once we're done. But go ahead.
Oh my God, that would be so amazing. I'll put it on my Instagram.
Go ahead.
Awesome.
Your Instagram. Go ahead and plug your Instagram.
When you say plug my Instagram, like you mean like
what's
your tag name on Instagram?
Instagram's
your profile name.
Profile name.
At what?
It's Cynthia _Alvarado 221.
All right. I thank you.
Y'all got a lot of followers, so all of your followers, come follow me now.
At Cynthia _Alvarado.
Yeah. You already know I'm one of your
221.
One of your biggest fans, and I don't know. I'm sorry, I got to be a little selfish, but I don't know if you can see like the UFC glove behind me in the corner.
Who likes a fight? Me too.
I kind of need another. I kind of need a boxing glove. Boxing glove on the other side, maybe, down the road. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out there. But
listen, I want to have you sign my book, your book, and I want to be at your premiere when your movie comes out.
Oh, it's when, girl, you said it, girl power.
When your movie comes out, I already know.
It's gonna be on the big screen. You're gonna see a girl in an orange jumpsuit walking, and
oh man, okay.
I can't wait. I'm gonna have popcorn and everything.
We wear our jumpsuits. We button them right here, and we're just braless in the south.
Okay,
girl.
I got one more question.
I have a lot of clothes in there, so it's
go ahead.
Like me in the summer.
I got one more question since we're talking about your movie. Okay, who would you? Sorry to put you on the spot. Who would you want to play you in your movie?
I know. That's the thing.
Oh, that's a good question.
Jennifer Lopez is cool, but I'm like, I'm 5'3", I'm pale.
Maybe, hey. I got one. I'll throw out there.
Hey,
what about Selma Hayek?
How about the
oh, she's hot.
Perfect.
She would be.
She got the hair.
She's also married to a billionaire who.
Yes.
Like Latinos are amazing. Look, we can even get billionaires.
Yeah.
we get them all.
Yeah, she's
so
built
you're telling
like
me my
you
time
too.
is coming. I might
she's
find
built like you too.
She's really she's so cute. I love someone.
She is cute.
I'm so little. People are like, how do you have so much rage in that little body? I'm like, I don't know.
Fire.
It's
the fire.
That's awesome.
Right.
It's that Pisces fire.
It is.
Hey, amazing Saturday weekend. We love you. You're more than welcome
to having you back on down the road.
Anytime,
more than welcome to come back on. Thank you so much, Cynthia. I really appreciate it.
I'm like, Cuzzo, he needs one of your gloves. Like,
yes.
You got my heart pumping already, but I appreciate it. Shout out, much love to him. I'm a big DSG. Shout out to DSG.
Me too. I love. Just to put it on the record. Danny is the most humble kid. He's remained a pure heart. He's so loving, and I really do appreciate and love him. He really, helped me a lot with my housing when I got out, and the money for my appeals because it had to be on those timings. So it's like I'm very extremely grateful for him and very proud of him as well.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy. I love his.
You always trust the timing of your life.
Yes. Yes, God knows everything, and universe knows everything. I love you
Universe.
guys. Thank you so
Love you
much.
too.
Much
Be
love.
safe.
Much love.
Ciao.
Have a great Easter.
Ciao.
I'm
Good
gonna
day.
right now.
bless. God
Ciao.
bless.
God bless.
Wow.
What an amazing story. It was
Yes.
I read that article and then we talked and it was just
Have to
amazing.
thank the
I mean,
Lord for
Powerful.
thank the
So
Lord
powerful.
for that response, because yeah,
the story that
that's
she
awesome.
told me, she was at the kiosk and she was in tears. I was like, wow, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I've never been in car. I think the longest time I ever been in jail was maybe 24 hours.
Right.
Right. A weekend.
Yeah, I can imagine 12 years. And I know we've had some guys on the show, but the story where I didn't know how to work technology like that. I mean, it's just some of the things that when you're incarcerated, I think instead of punishing these people, they need to teach these people how to be better people, how to learn to deal with life. And then some of this stuff when you're incarcerated, it's so difficult because they don't teach you anything. They just want to punish you. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Well, like she said too, you don't know who you can trust. So, I've heard so many people who have been in prison, they have the story of who they can't trust, but then they also have the story of but then there's I just talked to him last night. So, and he's really trying to get in a program because he knows that he has these mental traumas. We spoke about him last night. We spoke about his depression last night. And he, throughout our conversation, he just kept saying, I'm just trying to stay positive. I'm just trying to stay positive. It's very hard to do that here. And, they don't offer programs. They don't offer the right rehabilitation. As I told you before, there was a program that was supposed to be set up, and he was so excited to go. He was signed up. He made all the qualifications, and then COVID came and they took the program from him. And what kills me is, so he recently told me that that they just got a fleet of more people put in, they're now, instead of having 8 guys in his pod, he's got 15, right?
Oh wow.
So doubled, they're in sardines.
Damn.
So you got them in sardines, but you can't have a program that only a fraction of them qualify for. I'm confused on how that works. And again, it goes back to a system that's oppressing you, and now you have to wonder, are they against, who can you trust?
What's going on? What the hell's going on?
So much reform needs to happen. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And I'm not saying, the old saying, don't do the crime, don't do the time. I'm not saying that people shouldn't be punished, but there should be an equal amount of, times. She had life. That's just crazy to me.
It's crazy.
It should be, there should be amount of time that's matched with that. But again, jail is a business. Prison systems is a business. They're not here to see you go home. Right. They don't make money on you when you go home.
Right.
Just like the hospital. If you're healthy, you're not valuable to them. If you're rehabilitated, you're not valuable to the prison.
Right.
So they don't give a fuck.
Right. If you watch, I told Drake that I watched the Gacy, and I don't know what made. I just really never. I knew he was a murderer, killer.
Yeah, he was crazy.
I didn't really know the whole story. And if you watch that, and they talked about Philadelphia and just how politically just insane and just
that was
corrupted
a good.
they are.
I've seen that. Yeah,
I was like. I was just like, wow. So if that's going on in Chicago.
I can't wait to see what else she does and moves forward, because she's still a year's fresh, I mean, I remember just coming to Arizona and being here a year, and after a year, I'm like, I just moved here, because everything's still fresh to you. So a year is, a year to us is probably only 3-4 months feeling to her, right? And now you have all these new things that are coming out. So it's good to see that she's adjusting and adapting as best as possible, because I'm not going to say all together, because if I were to say all together, then that would be a fucking lie, because nobody can do all that and that much time and then just pop out and be like, I'm good.
That's why, and that was another reason why I was very, very careful with my wording and reaching out to her, because
I think her book and her movie are going to be very therapeutic for her to get that out to the world.
Right.
You know, that's a form.
Well-
She said she doesn't do well with the therapy, talking to a therapist, but I think
Right.
her circle that she has, her friends, and you know, the lawyer friend and the friend that was her,
Mhm.
you know, prison wife, and certain people in her small circle. I
Yeah,
think
she got a
those are
great
therapeutic.
foundation right now.
Yeah, but I really think that the movie and the book are going to be extremely therapeutic for her to get out and be able to spread, you know, across more and continue to help advocate for these women who have been through what she's been through, or falsely accused, or sexually abused, or
Right.
just labeled as pieces of shit when they're trying to be heard.
Right. So last couple topics. Tori's favorite, Donald Trump owes
Yeah. Hey,
$130 to McDonald's.
yeah, hey,
No, that's 'cause he's a
I actually
fat
got it.
fuck.
I actually have to go, man. I got an appointment. Well, my daughter has an
Wait, you're not
appointment.
gonna wait. He's a fat fuck. Just say it. He's a fat
So,
fuck. That's why.
Damn. Well,
Not
Well,
maybe
no,
I'll,
so-
Donald
okay,
Trump.
maybe I'll stay.
Donald
Yeah.
Trump.
No.
He owes $130 on a tab, claiming the ex-boyfriend. So
A total.
No,
I
he's
thought
a
that was
fat fuck, and then he serves McDonald's to the people that would come visit him at the
Damn, what the hell?
right. So last night
because
he
he's
made a
classy.
What the hell? Are you serious?
yeah. He owes
McDonald's,
100.
for real? No, with the
It's a lot of
McDonald's.
fucking chicken nuggets. That's why his skin's orange.
Oh my god. Too
And
much
then this-
orange. Too much high orange high C.
Doesn't
That's
Fires
crazy.
that hard fastball, and Major League is telling fans to ban MLB because they're going to pull out the All-Star game out of Georgia. And I guess Obama definitely doesn't agree with him. But
Mama's a sports guy. That's why.
yeah,
Trash.
that was it. I just wanted to tell that he owes money and he's
A total douchebag.
You said it.
Alex. Happy Easter, Tori. Happy Easter. Is there
Happy Easter to you as well.
is there
What's
anything?
next? Rabies shots for the Easter Bunny or what?
Rabies shots.
Maybe.
That was from Home Alone. I just
I
don't
know.
I feel like saying it. It's funny. Vaccinations for the Easter Bunny. Did he get his? Because I'm not going Easter egg hunting if he didn't, man. I'm just throwing that out there.
Is the Easter
that
Bunny
was
the
my
one who
joke of
lays
day.
the eggs, or is it a chicken?
What?
Or those?
Damn.
I said, is the Easter Bunny the one that lays the eggs, or is it a chicken? Or are
you know what?
Or are the colored eggs Easter nuts?
Whoa. Already.
Bunny nuts.
Well,
I'm just wondering. These are thoughts that cross my mind.
I'm surprised he didn't. I'm surprised he didn't put on the new animal goat or whatever the hell it was that just got added to the Cadbury Bunny commercial. I'm surprised he didn't want to talk about that today.
Goat?
I'm shocked. I don't know. There was a new animal introduced on the commercial. I guess that commercial that we all grew up watching. You know, where the bunnies got. Is it the bunny or is it the chick got the ears on? I don't know. I haven't seen that in a long time, but I'm just surprised he didn't find that story and post it.
Follow me on Drake Swift, everything. Drake Swift. On Wednesday, Spotlight Wednesday, we got our Wednesday guest, Jesse Ficuri, a good friend of mine. We go back a long way. He owns Lola Coley Island. He in Chicago. He has his own pony in Chicago. Great guy. He's got some great stories. I'm pretty sure he's going to tell some escort stories. He used to be a driver for me, so some great stories. Once again, follow me on Drake Swift.
We ain't heard enough of those.
Yeah, well, I love him. I fucking love him. Alex, follow Alex.
Sports Small 313, Instagram, Twitter. That's it.
That's it.
And Tori Rochelle on Facebook, at All Beauty All Beast on Instagram, and The Savage Kitty on Twitter.
All right. Happy Easter.
Yeah, you guys have a
Happy
blessed
Easter.
Easter for sure. And once again,
Be blessed. Stay
congratulations
safe.
to your madre.
All right. Thank you.
Jane Garcia for
Yes.
sure, man. It's really awesome, man. I can't, and I'm gonna try to watch it virtually. I don't know if we were able to. I'm sure we can.
Tell Mama I said
April 10th.
congratulations.
No problem.
So
Thank
yeah,
you.
that should be cool. That should be cool. But yeah, we got to get her on, man. So make that happen. Get on it.
All right, guys. Peace out. Love ya.
Love yous. Peace
Peace.
out.
Bye-bye.